Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if neglected Naruto x Kiyomi Uchiha harem. Before I start, please support for more amazing content, and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by uncageduzu and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Prologue. The daughter of the late Madara Uchiha, Kushina Uchiha Uzumaki, though she never told anyone she was his daughter, had just given birth to her two beautiful babies. The little tan boy, with a tuft of yellow hair, blue eyes and 3 identical whisker marks on each cheek, she and Minato had named Naruto, meaning maelstrom. Also the main character of Minato's sensei, Jiraiya's book, the tale of the utterly gutsy shinobi, whilst the small tan girl with the red tuft, purple eyes, and the same whisker marks as Naruto, she and Minato had named Kiyomi, meaning pure beauty. Whilst Kushina was recovering, Biwako and Taji were silently cradling her children and Minato was just finishing up getting her seal, holding the kyubi, stable. Suddenly there was a noise, and a thump that sounded eerily similar to that of a dead body hitting the ground. She and Minato both whipped their heads around in search for what was wrong, when they both spotted it. The Sandame's wife, Biwako Sarutobi, as well as Taji, lying there unmoving, a shadowy cloaked figure that donned a white mask with a black flame-like pattern on the left side, and a single eye hole loomed over the top over the now deceased bodies, with both of their children in his grasp. He spoke in a calm, even tone. Yandame Hokage Minato, step away from the Jinchuriki, or your children will die at the ripe old age of 1 minute. As Minato was trying to figure out whom this masked man was, he was unaware that the seal holding the kyubi was slowly breaking, until Kushina cried out in pain. Kushina! Shouted Minato with worry and alarm. The seal's not done. He thought glumly. The masked man repeated again, in his calm tone. Step away from the Jinchuriki, or do you not care if your children die? Hold it, Jay, just calm down. Minato tried to reason. You should take your own advice, Minato. I am perfectly calm. The stranger spoke mockingly. He proceeded to toss both children into the air. Naruto, Kiyomi! Kushina yelled with terror and worry as she saw her babies in the air, and the mysterious man aiming a kunai at each of them. There was a yellow flash as Minato teleported to his children, safely moving them from harm's way. I see, you live up to your moniker, the yellow flash, the masked man stated. But now what? He questioned. It was only then that Minato realized that the babies' blankets had several explosive tags covering them. Thinking fast, Minato safely removed the blankets and Hirashine to safety, whilst the tags exploded, covering the now open area in smoke and debris. Minato! Kiyomi! Naruto! Kushina cried with worry. Meanwhile Minato had Hirashined himself and his children to their house. He had tucked them in whilst thinking of what the masked man could be planning. He tried to separate Kushina and me, and is here when the Jinchuriki's seal is at its weakest. Could he be after Kyubi? He came to his realization and yelled in frantic panic. Shit! If he is, I'll have to go try save your mother. I can't let Kyubi fall into anyone else's hands. Masked man and Kushina. After a while of staring at Kushina, he entered the seal, where he proceeded to use his Sharingan to control the Kyubi. On the outside he spoke 3 terrifying words. Come forth, Kyubi! Then it all happened. An enormous roar and a vile red chakra. The Kyubi appeared in all its glory. We head for the village now, he commanded it. Stop! He heard Kushina weakly yell. He was quite surprised. She was still alive even after the extraction of the fox. He voiced his thoughts. You Uzumaki truly are something special. Even ripping a bijou from you won't kill you. It's only fitting for the Kyubi to kill its former Jinchuriki. Kyubi reared its paw back and struck. The smoke settled only to reveal Minato holding Kushina away from the attack. Kushina looked around urgently, and then asked with worry. Where's Naruto and Kiyomi? Relax. I have hidden them somewhere safe. Minato replied soothingly. Kushina settled down at this. Thank God. Minato, stop him. He has the Kyubi and is heading for the village. Minato stopped in his tracks. Useless bitch couldn't even hold the Kyubi back. He raged internally. He sighed. Oh well, she's on death's door anyway. I'll just make Naruto and Kiyomi weapons for the village. He thought the end part with glee, at the prospect of the village having 2 weapons. He then vanished with Kushina. House Naruto and Kiyomi. Minato and Kushina appeared in a yellow flash. Why? Kushina questioned quietly. Minato placed Kushina into the bed with Kiyomi and Naruto. Never mind why, just stay with Kiyomi and Naruto. Minato replied sternly. Kiyomi Naruto. Kushina started to weep. Minato, thank you and good luck, she said softly. Minato faced away from her and put his cloak on. I'll be back before you know it, he proclaimed cheerfully. On the inside though he was seething. Stupid whore, I can't let him reach the village or villagers, they are the most important thing, as well as keeping the weapon. Kukuku, Hiruzen. Hiruzen was sitting in an office doing paperwork covering for Minato when he felt something vile. It couldn't be, could it? He thought to himself. Suddenly an ANBU appeared in front of him. Sandame-sama, it's the Kyubi. The Kyubi attacked the village out of nowhere. The ANBU shouted frantically. It's as I feared, Hiruzen thought. I know, I'll hold it back. You go gather and protect the civilians. Hiruzen ordered. Hi, sir. With that said, the ANBU left. The Sandame had a bunch of questions running through his mind. Did Kushina's seal fail? Were all the safeguards we put up really not enough? Kyubi spotted Minato after he teleported to the Hokage monument. It immediately started to charge up a Bijudama and fired it at him. Minato however countered this by going through a string of hand seals at a very impressive pace. The Bijudama seemingly absorbed into the monument, whilst Minato held out one of his Horatian kunai. The Bijudama then exploded, safely outside of the village. The masked man appeared and engaged Minato in a short fight. Just as the masked man was starting to warp him, Minato teleported away. As Minato appeared back where he saved his children from the exploding tags, his thoughts were analyzing the masked intruder. My attack just slipped right through him, then he became solid and started sucking me into some kind of dimension or something. What the hell was that move? The air distorted in front of him in a black vortex. The unknown masked shinobi started to appear in front of him. You won't get away from me, the masked man told him, having just fully appeared, whilst Minato was in deep thought about what was going on. Does he use space-time techniques too? Whatever it is must be how he moved so far after taking Kushina. He defeated the Umbu under the direct command of the Sandame, got through our most powerful, top-secret barrier we have, and must have been aware that Kushina's seal would be weakened during childbirth. Then with the seal broken, he took the Kyubi, then he stormed straight into Konoha and didn't even pause to deal with the barrier. There's only one man I can think of that makes sense. Are you Madara Uchiha? Just after Minato questioned him, the masked man slipped off his hood showing short spiky black hair, but Minato came to a conclusion. No, you couldn't be. He's long dead. Oh, I wouldn't be too sure about that, stated the masked man. Minato looked at him questioningly. It doesn't matter who you are, but why have you attacked Konoha? Oh, you know it's fun. It's part of my plan, to start a war to bring peace. The mystery man answered seriously. Minato looked at him with narrowed eyes, thinking about his opponent. Whoever he is, he's incredible. He can control the Kyubi, wields space-time ninjutsu superior to the Nidame's and my own, and clearly has evil intentions. If I don't kill him now, he will become a greater threat than the fox. There's no hope for any of you. Knocked Minato out of his thoughts. The masked man charged him with a chain cuffed to his wrists. Minato met his charge as he went to stab him with his kunai. The masked man however simply phased through him. The chain proceeded to wrap around Minato, binding him tightly. Minato teleported to his kunai again, and dashed at him with one still tightly in his grasp. They charged each other again. Minato threw his kunai. It phased through the masked man's head. When it was completely out of his head, Minato created a Rasengan, still charging forward. Just as the masked man grasped his arm, Gotch, Minato vanished, reappearing above him. Rasengan! Shouted Minato as he smashed the technique into the masked man's back. The masked man seethed. Damn it, he teleported to the kunai he just threw. That was Horatian level 2. Minato declared proudly. Minato teleported to stab him in the back, and placed the seal on him. A contract seal. Are you trying to pull the Kyubi from my control? His masked opponent queered. Oh, I already did. It's no longer your weapon, Minato stated. It's mine. Kukuku, he thought with glee. You earned your title Yandame Hokage. You wrestled control of the fox and injured me in one move. But the fox will be mine. One day, the fox and the world will bow to my will. There are still many doors open to me. With those last few parting words he vanished, in a black vortex. Something tells me he wasn't lying, Minato though warily. Kyubi, hold it off until Yandame-sama arrives, yelled one of the many shinobi to his fellow comrades. Said person looks on in complete and utter terror when he sees that the Kyubi is charging up its own attack, the Bijudama. This is awful, is the thought running through Minato's head as he sees Kyubi charging up its Bijudama. A loud cry of Kuchios no Jutsu rung out, and all of a sudden the Toad Boss, Gamabunta, appeared in all his glory, the Yandame atop his head. He looked around and noticed the battle that was going on and the fact that he had been summoned on top the greatest known Biju, the Kyubi. The Yandame has arrived, exclaimed one of the shinobi. Minato thinks back to what the masked man stated. The fox in this world will bow to my will. He bows his head. Sorry Kushina, hold the fox down for a minute. Minato yells to Gamabunta urgently. Look, I may be big, but I'm not a miracle worker. Gamabunta exclaimed. I need enough chakra to take him and the blast out of here. Minato yells again. Suddenly he and the fox vanish. Minato, did he teleport the fox and himself? Hiruzen questioned. Boom, out there! Shouts Hiruzen to the ninja present, seeing the giant explosion in the distance. Minato and Kyubi. Minato gently puts Kushina down. Huff, huff, I've got to put up a barrier, Minato says to Kushina. My chakra is almost drained, Kushina thought in urgency. Chakra chains shoot out of her back, and she wraps the fox in them. Yuya! Baby Kiyomi and Naruto cry in Minato's arms. Kushina! An alarmed Minato yells. Kushina trembles in exhaustion. Ha ha, sorry Kiyomi, Naruto, I didn't mean to wake you. Minato looks on with concern. Kushina, I'll drag the Kyubi back and die with it inside me, that'll prevent it from coming back for a while. Huff, it's the only way to save the three of you with the little chakra I have left. Kushina panted out, already on death's door. She smiles sadly. Thank you for everything. No, I can't let her do that, we need the Kyubi. Minato thought in alarm. Minato thought quickly. Kushina, you made me your husband, made me the Hokage and made me these children's father, and Minato started to say, however was interrupted by a sadly smiling Kushina. Don't look sad, Minato, I'm happy that you loved me. Happy that it's our children's birthday. If I had any regrets, it's that I won't see Kiyomi and Naruto grow up. At these words, Minato got even more alarmed. Damn it, I can't let her take the weapon, he screamed mentally, but composed himself. Kushina, he drifted off. You don't need to take the fox down with you. We can use the last of our chakra to see Kiyomi and Naruto one more time. He tried to reason. Huh? Kushina said with a questioning look. Just a little more convincing, Minato thought mentally. He took a deep breath and started doing some hand seals, which Kushina overlooked. I'll split the last of your chakra, and seal it into each of them with the hack no Fuin Shiki. Then I'll lead the Kyuubi away with a seal a non-Jinchuriki like me can use. The Shiki Fujin. He exclaimed just as he finished the seals. The Shinigami appeared. Kushina's eyes flew open wide. But that user will be Dash, she exclaimed. Minato continued on, interrupting her. But I'll use it to be able to split the fox's power. It's just too great. It's physically and conceptually impossible to completely seal it all. I can't let the Kyuubi be revived without a Jinchuriki. It would destroy the balance of the Bija. But with the dead demon seal I can permanently split its power in half and seal half inside Kiyomi, and the remaining half will be sealed inside of Naruto with the hack no Fuin Shiki. Minato finished explaining his excellent plan. No! Minato! Absolutely not. They are our children. That's why I don't want them to have this burden, my burden, and on their own. Kushina yelled vehemently. Minato looked shocked. But why the Shiki Fujin? You don't have to die as well, just so I can meet them for a few minutes when they're older. I wanted you to be there for him to raise them. So then why are you sacrificing Kiyomi and Naruto? Kushina snarled. And for what? The balance of the Bijou. She hollered at him. Minato looked shocked, which then turned to an appalled look. Turning your back on the country, the village, is just as bad as abandoning your child. You should understand, you saw your village fall apart. You know the pain of growing up without a home of your own. And you know that we are a family of shinobi, Minato exclaimed. Kushina looked pissed. Don't bring my village into this, Minato. They only fought so that the children could get away from the attack. If there's one thing Uzushiogakure taught us, it is that family is the most important thing. Village be damned, it's just a bunch of buildings. Buildings can be rebuilt, but people's live cannot be returned. You think this will be Kiyomi and Naruto's home? If they are Jinchuriki, they will hate them. I wasn't because no one knew. This is different. People have been killed, the village attacked. The information won't be a secret. The village will vent its anger. Kushina yelled in fury. Minato continued on. I could never be a substitute for a mother. Things that Kiyomi and Naruto need to be taught that I could never do myself. That's the mother's job and I need you to carry it out. Even if you only have the briefest of moments to carry it out. It's not for you, it's for Kiyomi and Naruto, smiled Minato. Don't change the subject. It's not for Kiyomi or Naruto. They'll be on their own. And hated. How could you do this? Is the village more important to you than your own children? Kushina shouted angrily. Be honest now, Minato, she said quietly. Very well, Kushina. Minato snarls. He continued. The village is the most important thing. We need a weapon to protect it, he stated. Kushina's shocked look changes to rage, and then pure undulated hatred. Her Sharingan activates and starts spinning wildly. I see, then I hate you. Minato Namikaze. I was actually starting to consider you my husband. But you're no longer my husband. You're not Kiyomi's or Naruto's father, and you won't ever be now. As far as I'm concerned, you're just a sperm donor. Kushina yelled in pure hatred and fury. Minato is shocked, but then he chuckles. I never loved you anyway. I used you for breeding a weapon. Even better, you're an Uchiha as well. At the thought of what her children would go through, and being left alone, hated, possibly even die. The emotional trauma affected Kushina. Her look gains even more hatred. The spinning Sharingan starts to morph, turning into a tri-bladed shuriken, her Mangekyo. If looks could kill. Kushina gave a hollow chuckle. I used you first, bastard. I wanted my children to be stronger than any. I couldn't find my destined mate, so I settled for the strongest. You're half Kagaya, half Senju. Haha. You didn't know though, did you? No, the Kyuubi informed me of your lineage. I only agreed for my children's sakes. You never even had sex with me. Ha ha ha. She cackled madly before continuing. It was simple to get pregnant. All I had to do was use my Sharingan to put you in Genjutsu, then erase the memory of my Sharingan and implant false memories if you broke free. Though you never thought to break out because they were used for pleasure, and you didn't need to suspect anything. Afterwards I got a semen sample and was artificially inseminated. That's it. Kahahaha. She finished cackling madly, as if insane. Minato shook with rage. He'd been outplayed, and he never even gotten laid to the whirlpool bitch. She was a fine piece of ass too. Who were your parents then? He questioned. There weren't any rogue Uchiha. That's right. I am Kushina Uzumaki Uchiha, the daughter of Madara Uchiha and Kasumi Uzumaki. And for using kiyomi, Naruto and myself, I'm going to kill you! Kushina shouted. Minato looks shocked, then scared. And Madara Uchiha, he breathes shakily. He quickly tells the Shinigami to split the Kyuubi's chakra into yin and yang. He seals the yin half into kiyomi. Damn you, curse Yondaime! Kyuubi shouts with hatred. Kushina's chains weaken due to losing more chakra with the use of the Mangekyo. Damn, can't get my revenge, sorry Musum, Sochi. Kushina sadly thought. Minato notices the chains weakening. Damn it, useless bitch, he thought. The Kyuubi takes a chance and tries to stab Naruto in order to not the last of his chakra be sealed. Minato and Kushina appear and block the claw from reaching baby Naruto. It pierces them through the stomach, however. Looks like you win, Namikaze, you monster! Kushina snarls. Minato smirks. Looks like I do. He states smugly. Kuchios no jutsu. He yells. The Kyuubi and the Yondaime, what the hell happened to you? The little toad yells in question, shocked. Gamatora, I'm entrusting you the key to both of the seals. Please hurry to Jiraiya-sensei and store yourself within him. Ordered Minato. I see Minato is making a new weapon for the village by making his children Jinchuriki, and saving the village. Hiruzen says in understanding. Got it. Replies Gamatora. Now that the Shiki Fujin in first half is sealed, all I have to do is repeat the hack no Fuin Shiki and seal some of Kushina's and my chakra. I don't want Kushina trying to corrupt the weapons, but they'll be too loyal by then and they'll need her to help control the fox, Minato thought. Cough, I don't have much time, Kiyomi, Naruto. I just want you both to follow this advice. Cough, don't be fussy eaters, eat lots and become big, beautiful children. Take your bath every day and go to bed early and sleep well. Try to make some friends. It doesn't matter how many, just make sure they are your real friends, people you can trust. Even a few is enough. Study your ninjutsu. I was never very good at it, maybe you will be. Everyone has things they are good at and things they're not. Don't feel bad if you can't do it at all. Make sure you listen to the academy teachers, but only the ones you trust. And remember the 3 shinobi vices. Don't borrow money if you can help it. Save what you earn from missions. No alcohol until you're 20 and don't drink too much, it'll ruin your body. Kiyomi, as for men, don't pick someone like Namikaze. Pick someone like I know your brother will turn out to be. Naruto, as for women, I'm a woman, so I don't know what to say, but there are only men and women in this world and someday you'll want a girlfriend, maybe more than one. Chuckle, try not to pick a weird one, try to pick someone like your mother. If only she knew. Kiyomi, Naruto, you're going to experience a lot of pain and suffering. Always stick together, and you show those bastards the true meaning of pain. Just don't forget who you are and find a dream, a goal, and don't stop until you achieve it. Sniff, there is so much more. Sniff, that I want to teach you. Sniff, but just remember that I want to stay with you, and I will always love you, no matter what you do. Kushina finished saying, with a smile on her face. You bitch. You took all of my time. Minato yells in anger. He continues. Kiyomi, Naruto, don't listen to your motor-mouth mother, your weapons, you have no emotions, no fear, show your enemies pain and always protect your village no matter what. Hack no Fuin Shiki. With the barrier down, the Sandaime collected baby Kiyomi and Naruto from the ceiling altar, and proceeded to inform the council of the news. Council chamber. Already in the chambers were the members of all 3 of the councils, Shinobi, Civilian and his advisors, the elders, Hamura, Koharu and Danzo. From the civilian side, well, he honestly couldn't be bothered remembering their names, they would just waste his time. From the Shinobi Council were Shibi Aburame, Fugaku Uchiha, Shikaku Nara, Inoichi Yamanaka, Chuza Akimichi, Murakumo Kurama, and vacant spots for the Senju and Uzumaki clans. He sighed. As he placed both Kiyomi and Naruto into their crib, he figured this would be a long evening. Sandaime-sama, what happened to Yondaime-sama? Inoichi questioned, looking around for Minato. Well, Inoichi, seeing as he's not here, I'm assuming something troublesome has happened to him. Isn't why you've called us here, Sandaime-sama, stated Shikaka as he focused his attention from Inoichi to Hiruzen. Nothing ever gets past you, does it, Shikaku? You're right, something has happened to Minato. Hiruzen answered. As soon as he said that, as he predicted, there were shouts coming from all of the directions of the council chambers. Hiruzen just rubbed his temples in irritation and sighed. He was right, this was going to be a long night. Silence, he ordered calmly. If you would just allow me a moment to tell you what has happened, we can deal with any issues at hand and get back to our homes and families quicker. As I'm sure all of you know by now, the Kyuubi has attacked the village. There have been numerous casualties. It just appeared out of nowhere. He paused to take a breath. Anyway, once the Kyuubi arrived near the village, numerous shinobi held the beast off until Minato arrived for battle. When he arrived, the Kyuubi was about to release a Bijudama. Luckily, Minato high-shined himself, the beast, and its attack outside the walls of the village. After that, he proceeded to grab twin orphans that were just born tonight in order to seal the Kyuubi into them. The Fuin jutsu he used cost him his life. It is called the Shiki Fujin. The reason it cost him his life is because the jutsu summons the Shinigami to separate the fox's chakra. He sealed the yan half into this child here. Naruto Uzumaki, he declared as he held the boy up to them. He gently placed him back after a moment. He then sealed the yin half of the Kyuubi into Naruto's twin sister, Kiyomi Uzumaki. This time he held up the red-haired baby girl. Now, as far as I know, the chakra inside of Kiyomi has taken the form Kyuubi as well, so there will be in theory 2 Kyuubis. However, both will only have half of the chakra of the original. After he finished speaking, he looked around to see the reactions of his fellow shinobi and villagers. Come on, please hate them so I can more easily mold them into weapons. He mused rather darkly, waiting for their reactions. 321 he mentally counted down. Just as he predicted, the chambers exploded in uproar mainly from the civilian side. There were many calls of kill the demons. Or finish what Yandame-sama started. Inwardly Hiruzen was cheering. On the outside though he had a barely visible smirk. Having enough of the noise, he raised some killing intent and bellowed. Enough, you fools! These children are not demons! Minato wanted you to see them as heroes. Another round of outrage was met with that statement. He sighed. Fine, I'll have to make some rules that will be followed. Am I clear? He asked again, influenced by some killing intent. Hi, Sandame-sama. Hiruzen sighed. Good. He cleared his throat. Now no one can speak about who the Kyuubi is sealed into in public, or to the younger generation. The official story is that Minato sacrificed his life in order to kill the Kyuubi. You are not to harm the children in any way. These are S-rank laws and secrets. Anyone who is foolish enough to do so will be punished with death. Does everyone understand? It was met with another round of outrage. Enough! Hiruzen bellowed with killing intent. I asked if everyone understood. Hi, Sandame-sama was a quickly chorused throughout the room. Hiruzen, Danzo exclaimed, getting his attention. I think the children should be put under me, to mold the perfect weapon for the village. Danzo proclaimed proudly. No, Danzo, these children will not be weapons. They are children, nothing more, and don't you forget that. Do I make myself clear? He spoke calmly, leaking a bit of killing intent. TCH fine, hi Hiruzen. All the while Sarutobi was thinking completely differently. Well, they won't be your weapon, no one's but mine. Kukuku, alright, I will place the children in the orphanage now. This meeting is dismissed. Hiruzen then got up and proceeded to take Kiyomi and Naruto to the orphanage. At least I won't have to do paperwork tonight, yes, he declared proudly in his head. He just dropped the twins off at the orphanage, with words to the matron that if anything harmful happened to them there would be trouble, not that he would actually do anything, but people didn't need to know that. Now he was on his way home when a Route NB landed in front of him. Sandame-sama, Danzo-sama would like to have a brief meeting about the Jinchurikis. The Route operative stated, in a monotone voice, devoid of emotions. Hiruzen nodded, expecting this from Danzo, but replied politely. Yes, I was expecting as much. Tell him we'll meet in my office. I'll be there in a few. The Route soldier nodded. Hi Sandame-sama, Danzo-sama will be waiting. With that, the operative left to inform Danzo. Hiruzen continued on his trek to the Hokage Tower, opting to walk and enjoy the peace instead of using the Shunshin no Jutsu. Hokage Tower 5 minutes later. Upon arrival, Danzo was already seated in the office opposite the desk, calmly sipping upon some tea. He turned and faced his longtime friend and rival. Tea, Hiruzen? He offered. It'll be calming after the events of the Kyuubi's attack. Hiruzen simply nodded and moved to sit in the chair behind his desk. He took a sip of his tea and decided to get things started. Alright Danzo, I want you to use your route to spread around the identities of the Kyuubi Jinchurikis. Danzo looked a bit puzzled, and voiced his opinion. Why can't I have them? Make them loyal weapons, strong as well. Hiruzen shook his head. I want them to still retain emotions, but have them loyal to the village of their own free will. Set them with an impossible goal, like becoming Hokage. I will play the loving grandfather figure and manipulate them into wanting, no desiring to become Hokage. This will never happen. Of course they will remain loyal to Konoha through this though. They'll be strictly loyal to me, to the Hokage, if everyone hates them sans myself. Danzo nodded, liking the idea so far. He wouldn't have them, but they would be loyal weapons for Konoha. Very well Hiruzen, I'll have my route spread the news. You'll notice the effects by tomorrow. You really are the best manipulator, aren't you? You've been manipulating the council for years. Hiruzen nodded, chuckling a bit. Yes, I have Danzo, nothing is more important than Konoha. Danzo nodded in full agreement. Very well then, good night Hiruzen. He nodded. Good night as well Danzo, I look forward to seeing the news spread by tomorrow. With that said, they both went their separate ways, having thoughts about how the plan would carry out in some years' time. Konoha was safe, it would stay strong. Tonight was a good night, bar the attack and loss of some shinobi. Chapter 01, Who We Are. Time skip 3 years 11 months 3 weeks later. Kiyomi and Naruto are in their small room in the orphanage, sleeping, cuddling together on their single futon. It was old, moldy and filled with holes. It was a terrible place, but they were getting through it, little by little, day after day. They were both mostly confined to their room when in the orphanage, only allowed out to use the toilet or bath. They only got baths once a week, sometimes twice if they were lucky. The little amounts of food which they got would only be the leftovers from the other orphans, and that meant that there wasn't usually that much left because, before they even got their meals, anyone whom wanted seconds got theirs, after which it was brought into their room. The plate would be collected within a time span of 10 minutes. If they didn't finish it all, it was thrown on the floor in the room. Even if there was only enough for one of them to eat, he would always give it to Kiyomi, his precious Minato. When they were allowed to play outside, it was never with the other children, so at first they would wander through the village looking for things to do. They however stopped this as they grew very uncomfortable with all of the hostile glares and muttering thrown their way. They now instead opted to go play in the forest just outside the orphanage. If they were ever home late, even if only by a minute, they would be locked outside and forced to spend the night outside. They learned this after it happened on 3 separate occasions. Whenever it would happen, Naruto would make sure Kiyomi was warm, then he would worry about himself, though most of the time they would snuggle together to keep warm. Inside one of the hollowed-out trees they found in the forest. They are very smart children. Naruto could somehow sense emotions, and he always felt these vibes of ill intent towards Kiyomi and himself from the old man that they had dubbed publicly Gigi. He snorted at the name. The first visit the old man gave them that he could remember, he saw the glint in his eyes. He wore a visage and played the kind, harmless, grandfatherly figure, but he was really cunning, manipulative and deceptive. As soon as he had departed, he told Kiyomi that he didn't trust him, and to never trust anyone but himself in the village. He didn't know how, but he could sense negative emotions, and practically everyone in the village had a vibe of ill intent towards them. She of course readily agreed, having seen through the lies of the kind old man. One of the reasons for them seeing through the mask, and not trusting Hiruzen was, for some reason, Naruto and his twin sister Kiyomi have always been hated. As far back as he can remember, there were those icy cold hateful glares thrown their way, along with the constant mutterings of demon, demon brat, demon bitch, demon whore, murderer/s. These were just some of the colorful names that the people of the village had given them. What did they ever do to deserve this? Both Kiyomi and he have tried asking their Gigi, but whenever either of them would bring it up, he would just avoid the question, or say, "I'm sorry, Kiyomi, Naruto, but I don't know." Another one was, "Just give them time, Kiyomi, Naruto. I'm sure they'll come around." His personal favorite was the one that they received after a beating. Naruto would say how he hated the villagers that did this to him. The old man would shake his head in disappointment. "I've already told you, Kiyomi-chan, Naruto-kun, just give them a chance, they're good people, just confused." Naruto would always narrow his eyes at that. Where was his and Kiyomi's chance? "Well, if they won't give us a chance, then neither shall we. I'll show them all, they'll pay for what they've done to Amato-chan and I," were the rather dark thoughts that came from Naruto. Orphanage. Kiyomi in Naruto's room. Naruto and I. A little malnourished red-haired girl asked a slightly taller, malnourished boy. "Yes, Kiyomi-chan, what is it?" Naruto asked Kiyomi curiously. She looked almost like she was going to cry. "WNAR sniff, we going to get sniff out of H here? Sniff, I don't like the orphanage." "Sniff?" Kiyomi asked quietly. Naruto's face softened. He replied as he brought her into a hug and rubbed her back soothingly. "As soon as we can, Kiyomi. I know you hate it here. I do as well. How about we ask Gigi?" He spat the name out like it was poison on his tongue. "If we can get an apartment together. After all, our birthday is coming up soon." Kiyomi looked at him with large, hopeful, wide violet eyes. "You really think so, Nai-san?" "Databane!" she shouted brightly. He quickly clamped his hand over her mouth. "Sure, Kiyomi, not so loud. We don't want to get into trouble or anything," Naruto said quietly. Kiyomi looked downtrodden. "Sorry, Naruto and I." Naruto brought her into a hug again. "It's alright, Kiyomi. I know how much you want to get out of here. I do too." He kissed her forehead. "Come on, Kiyomi. We should get back to sleep. We need to keep our strength up, and rest more with how little food we get." "Okay, Nai-san, good night, I love you," she murmured as she started to lie down. "I love you too, Amato-chan," Naruto whispered as he too drifted off to sleep, holding his sister in a tight embrace. The next day, Naruto opened his eyes as the light shone through the hole-filled curtains of their room. He looked down upon the still resting face of his twin sister Kiyomi. He almost yelled out kawaii, with how she looked, so peaceful and cute. He brought his arm around her again as he drew her back and close. She snuggled into the warmth, and he just lay there waiting for her to awaken. About 10 minutes later, curious purple eyes flew open, flickering around the room. "Good morning, Naruto and I," she mumbled as she rubbed her eyes with her balled-up hands. Naruto smiled. "Good morning, Kiyomi-chan," he replied happily. "Hey Kiyomi, I've done some thinking. You know how we want to be ninjas when we're older, well, when we're strong enough and ready enough. Let's leave this hellhole of a village, Databayo," Naruto whispered with determination shining in his eyes. Upon realizing he said his cursed verbal tick, his eye twitched in irritation. Kiyomi's eyes looked at him with the same amount of determination. "Yash! Let's do it! I can't wait, Tebane!" she exclaimed excitedly. Naruto chuckled in amusement. "Neither can I, Kiyomi-chan, either can I." "Naruto and I?" Kiyomi questioned quietly. "Yes, what is it, Kiyomi-chan?" Naruto queried curiously. Kiyomi looked hesitant. Do you think that Ka-chan and Tusan are alive and they just hate us like everyone else, or that they died in the Kyuubi attack?" Naruto smiled sadly. "I think that they are dead, but if I find them alive and they hated us, I will destroy them for leaving us to this hell." Kiyomi smiled hearing that. "Okay, Anayakun, thanks, you always know how to cheer me up, and you always care for me." The door to their room swung opened. "You little monsters are allowed outside, be back by 6. One of the more crude matrons snarled sternly. "Yes, ma'am." Naruto spoke in a monotone through gritted teeth. He grabbed Kiyomi's hand and led her out of their room, and out of the orphanage, and towards the forestry that they have grown to love. forest. Yuga was watching over her sensei Kushina's kids. She loved them dearly. And Naruto was a cutie too. Kiyomi is of course as well. She decided today that she would teach the Kawarimi no Jutsu, along with Henji no Jutsu. The main reason is to make it easier for them in the village, as well as paying her sensei back. She was apprenticed to Kushina after all. She was like a mother to her, being an orphan and all. Yuga decided it was time to reveal herself. She jumped down from the tree she was hiding and she held up her arms as if to say she wasn't a threat. She proceeded to take off her mask and give the kids an explanation. It's alright kids, you needn't worry, I won't harm you. My name is Yuga Yuzuki. I'm one of the if not the only ANBU protector whom actually does their duty of protecting you. I want to help you both. Do you want to become a shinobi in Konoha? Because I'm willing to give you some help? She inquired, intrigued for their reaction. Yes. Naruto shouted boisterously. Yuga chuckled at his eagerness. It reminded her a lot of Kushina. I do as well. Kiyomi chimed in, eager to become a great kunoichi. Yuga smiled. Very well then, listen up. I'm going to help you to unlock your chakra and teach you the hand seals to the Kawarimi no Jutsu and the Henji no Jutsu. Both children nodded eagerly. Okay, now listen closely. Yuga ordered seriously. Chakra is essential to even the most basic technique. It is the molding of the physical energy present in every cell of the body, and the spiritual energy gained from exercise and experience. Once molded, it can be channeled through the chakra circulatory system, which is to chakra as the regular circulatory system is to blood, to any of the 361 tenketsu in the body. Through various methods, the most common of which is hand seals, the chakra can then be controlled and manipulated to create an effect that would not be possible otherwise, such as walking on water, exhaling fire or creating illusions. Normal chakra is a form of life energy all living individuals naturally produce to some degree, contained in the chakra coils that mainly surround and connect to each chakra-producing organ. The energy circulates throughout the body in a network called the chakra circulatory system, similar to the cardiovascular system. Certain groups, such as ninja, have learned to generate more chakra and release it outside their bodies through their tenketsu in order to perform jutsu. Of the many different types of techniques, ninjutsu, genjutsu, dojutsu, and so on, all require the use of chakra. However, taijutsu is different, usually requiring no chakra use whatsoever. Stamina is all that is needed, while the ninja still needs a set amount of chakra to live, i.e. life force energy. Regular taijutsu doesn't require any active molding or manipulation of chakra, with few exceptions. A standard attack like a punch or kick falls into this technique category. Chakra is the resulting form of energy when two other forms of energy are mixed together. The two energies are referred to as physical energy and spiritual energy. Physical energy is collected from the body cells and can be increased through training, stimulants, and exercise. Spiritual energy is derived from the mind's consciousness, i.e. the soul, and can be increased through studying, meditation, and experience. Having these two energies become more powerful will in turn make the created chakra more powerful. Therefore, practicing a technique repeatedly will build up experience, building up one's spiritual energy, and thus allowing more chakra to be created. As a result, the ninja is able to do that same technique with more power. This same cycle applies for physical energy, except this time, instead of doing things like meditation, the ninja could, say, do push-ups. The general term for the source of chakra, the overall physical and spiritual energy an individual has, is called total stamina. The maximum amount of chakra an individual can create and retain at a given time is called their chakra power level. Yuga paused for a good minute to let all of the new information seep in. She spoke up. Alright, are you both ready to see the hand seal to unlock your chakra? Upon having both children nod, she started to show them the seal. She placed her hands in the ram seal and started to explain unlocking chakra. Alright, to unlock your chakra, place your hands in the seal, the ram seal as it is known, and close your eyes. Dig within yourself until you feel a source of warmth in your stomach. When you feel this, try to bring it forth. Through this action you will successfully unlock your chakra, though you may not get it on your first attempt. Copying her hand seal correctly the first time, which surprised Yuga, Naruto nodded to himself. He closed his eyes and took in deep calming breaths, breathing in and out slowly. Alright, time to do this. It's for Kiyomi-chan, I won't fail, and I'll do this on the first time, learn jutsu, and protect her. Protect Kiyomi, that's my nindo, Naruto thought to himself. About a minute into the silence he found it. It was a humongous sea of warmth. He gently and carefully pulled at it, trying to draw it out successfully. Alright Naruto, easy, and there, he thought. With a final struggle he succeeded in pulling forth and unlocking his chakra. Around Naruto was a clearly visible blue glow of chakra. It was swirling around him rapidly, and it seemed to wrap him in a flame-like aura. She felt him gathering his chakra and it was increasing. My God, to not only find it but to pull forth your chakra on your first try, and at this age, he might truly be a prodigy. Greater than even Itachi, she thought. Her eyes snapped open when she felt his final tug and the dams opened. Her eye widened in surprise. She could clearly see his chakra swirling around him, a deep, beautiful blue. It's truly unique, and this level he must have genin level reserves, and at this age. That's incredible. By the time he's 8 or 9 he'll have jounin level, and probably between ages 11 and 13 he'll have Kage level. What incredible, frightening potential, she thought. Wow, and Aikun is amazing. I can feel how warm his chakra is, and he unlocked it on his first try too. Okay, my turn now. Kiyomi thought in awe and determination. Kiyomi mirrored the hand seal that Yuga showed them, and that her brother just used, surprising Yuga as well. She closed her eyes and took several deep calming breaths. Alright Kiyomi, you can do it. Show Aikun how great you are. Kiyomi thought to herself in determination. She felt the massive sea that was her chakra. It felt incredible. It held such a warm feeling too. She gently and carefully tugged at it, slowly drawing it out. Just as she was about to succeed, she felt her grip on it weaken and she lost it. Kiyomi's eyes sprung open, a whirlpool of emotions. The main emotion, however, was sadness and self-loathing. She sniffled. I am so pathetic. I'm sorry Naruto and Yuga-sensei, please forgive me. She pleaded, tears streaming down her face. Naruto approached her and wrapped her in a comforting hug. Hey, it's alright Kiyomi-chan, you'll get it next time, alright? He asked, trying to cheer his beloved Minato up. She sniffed again before replying. Why, you really think so Naruto and She questioned him hopefully. Naruto stared into her large watering eyes. Have I ever lied to you, Kiyomi? He asked. She shook her head furiously in reply. No chan. I'm sorry, I'll try again. Kiyomi gave him a big grin, wiping her eyes free of tears. I'll get it this time, Tebane. Naruto returned a smile. Yeah, I'm sure you will Minato. Naruto replied, having complete faith in his sibling. Kiyomi repeated the same steps as before, closing her eyes in concentration and taking several deep breaths. She gripped in the warmth that was her chakra, and proceeded to slowly but surely bring it forth. All of a sudden she, like Naruto before her, erupted into a magnificent blue, flame-like aura that was her chakra. Her eyes flew open and she smiled a megawatt smile whilst cheering. I did it Naruto and On only the second try too. Yes. She was ecstatic. Naruto smiled kindly and proudly at her before replying. Yes you did Kiyomi-chan, yes you did. Yes, you did exceptional Kiyomi. Barely anyone can unlock their chakra on the second attempt, and on the first day, let alone on their first try, and day for that matter. Yuga stated, immensely proud of her sensei Kushina's children. Kiyomi's use of Kushina's verbal tic Tebane didn't escape her notice either. She idly wondered if Naruto inherited it as well. Alright, now listen up again please. Yuga started, wanting to get to the next part of the lesson. Now that you have both unlocked your chakra, I would like to show you the hand seals for two of the basic E-rank academy jutsu. They are the Kawarimi no Jutsu and Henji no Jutsu. The Henji no Jutsu will be especially useful for you both. It allows you to turn into someone else. You both will be able to go into shops more easily, as well as go unnoticed by any civilians in the village, unless they have any prior ninja training, which is highly unlikely. She finished explaining. Both children nodded enthusiastically to her, eager to start on the next lesson in becoming a shinobi and kunoichi respectively. Alright, I'll show you the hand seals for the Henji no Jutsu first. Now follow closely and do them with me. The first one is Inu. Yuga started, moving her hands and figure into position. Both Naruto and Kiyomi followed her lead, surprisingly getting it correct on the first attempt. Great, okay, the next one is I. Upon having her hands in place, she glanced at the twins to see how they were doing. Again, both got it on the first try. It was to be expected though, and both of them were very simple seals. Great job guys, keep it up, she encouraged. Now, on to the last one for the Henji no Jutsu. Its Hitsuji. Yuga had to correct them several times, but it was still extremely impressive how quickly they caught on, having no prior experience with hand seals and all. Okay you two, now I want you to run through the seals several times before actually attempting the jutsu, not too fast though. 30 minutes later, after practicing the hand seals a multitude of times through, to Yuga's satisfaction, she thought they were ready to give the jutsu a shot. Alright, all you have to do are those 3 hand seals and channel some chakra. So who wants to give it the first go? Yuga inquired. Kiyomi immediately looked to Naruto. He smiled. You go first Kiyomi-chan, I think you'll do great. Kiyomi nodded appreciatively and gave a slight smirk. She ran through the hand seals at fairly slow pace, exceptional for a 3-year 11-month 3-week-old. After completing the 3 required hand signs, she channeled some chakra and shouted out Henji no Jutsu. A cloud of smoke enveloped her, shielding her from both Yuga and Naruto's view. When the smoke cleared, Naruto's eyebrows rose, and Yuga had a small smile on her face. Well, how did I do? Kiyomi questioned anxiously. Yuga chuckled slightly, but replied nonetheless. You did great for your first attempt Kiyomi-chan. Keep practicing and you'll have it down pat in no time at all. Yeah, you were great Minato. Naruto chimed in. Ah really? She questioned. Yuga nodded. Yeah, really, in all honesty you've done better than most at it. Just keep practicing it, and you'll have it perfected in a month tops, I guarantee. Kiyomi beamed at the praise. Yuga turned to Naruto and motioned for him to go. It's your turn Naruto-chan, she said. Naruto pouted at the suffix but nodded and got into position nonetheless. He went through the seals at a slightly faster pace than Kiyomi, and with an exclamation of Henji no Jutsu the area was covered in smoke. Again, the smoke cleared and revealed Naruto standing there, with a pretty decent henge, not perfect, but close. Very good first attempt, Naruto. I'd say 3 weeks of practice, and you'll have it mastered, visual-wise at least. Yuga told him. Naruto nodded. Great, we'll practice it each day, a few times each day to get it better. Suddenly Yuga looked saddened. Sorry you two, I've got to go, duty calls. I brought some scrolls for both jutsu in case I didn't have enough time, here take them. I'll see you soon, good luck. With that Yuga chucked them the scrolls, slipped her mask on and jumped back into the trees, vanishing from sight. Naruto sighed, pocketing the scrolls. He was enjoying the extra company. Come over here, Kiyomi-chan. Kiyomi followed as per his request. Naruto dropped down under the shade of one of the trees and began to rummage through his pockets. Kiyomi looked on curiously. A few seconds later he pulled out a folded piece of paper and a pencil. He started to write something down. Kiyomi plopped herself down next to him and looked at the paper curiously. Where did you get the pencil and paper, Nai-chan? She asked curiously. He smirked in response. Why, I borrowed it from the orphanage, Kiyomi, he said gleefully. He went back to scribbling a few more things down. He then turned and faced her. I figured if we are leaving we should have a plan, he informed her. She nodded. It was logical. What do you have so far, Nai-kun? She questioned him. He smiled back, and faced the paper towards her, showing Kiyomi and Naruto's plans. Nothing yet, Kiyomi-chan. I was thinking we could talk about it for a few hours. She nodded in excitement. Well then let's get started, Tebane, she exclaimed, pumping a little fist in the air. Naruto smiled. Yeah, let's get started. Several hours later, Naruto and Kiyomi had just finished discussing what plans they had to make and taking notes about them. Naruto noticed the sun was setting and turned to Kiyomi. Kiyomi, I think we should head back, the sun's starting to go down. But let's get a drink first. Good idea, Nai-chan, let's go. Walking through the forest was a nice, peaceful, calming walk. However, walking to the taps where they could get a drink was a bit different. All of those cold glares on them, it felt so unnerving. The constant mutters, whispers, they were everywhere. They couldn't hope to escape. Naruto and I don't like the people, they're all bad, scary, meanies, Kiyomi exclaimed, clearly frightened by the viscous display. Naruto took note of this and tried to soothe her. I know, Kiyomi-chan, I know. Just keep going and ignore them. It's best we just get in and out of town and back to the orphanage as quick as possible. Yeah, okay. Kiyomi agreed quietly. Arriving to where they quickly got the drink and headed back to orphanage. Once arriving outside the orphanage, they quietly snuck in the door and went straight to their room. If they didn't, they would just get yelled at and cause more trouble. It wasn't worth it. Inside their small bedroom, whilst they waited for their meal, they began discussing about training plans. Naruto was the one that got the conversation going. Alright, Kiyomi, we'll need to build up physical strength first, so we'll need to eat lots of nutritious foods to be able to develop our bodies properly. Along with the foods, we'll need to do push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, and we'll also need to do some running to build up leg muscles, so that means squats as well. Kiyomi looked at him questioningly, voicing her concerns. But Naruto and how are we supposed to get healthy food when we can barely get anything here? None of the shops will sell us healthy stuff we can afford, and even then the rotten stuff they sell us is all of our money. Naruto smiled at his sister's intelligence before answering. Simple, Kiyomi-chan, we'll borrow some seeds from some shops, and make our own garden somewhere, maybe around our special spot. It's pretty hidden after all. But while the stuff grows, we're going to have to borrow some fresh products from some of the shops and stalls. Kiyomi seemed to brighten up at that. At least her Aniki would look after her. I can't wait to borrow some fresh food, yum. We hardly ever get fresh stuff unless we pick it from the surrounding forests, or find it. Naruto gave her a grin before replying. Neither can I, Kiyomi-chan, neither can I. Also, the sooner we get the food sorted, the sooner we can train. The sooner we train, the sooner we can leave this hellhole. Kiyomi beamed at his words. Just then the door to their room was harshly ripped open by one of the matrons. Time to eat, you little monsters. I'll be back in 10 minutes, you know the drill, she declared, putting the plate down with disgust. She then proceeded to slam the door and storm away. Probably just in a hurry to get away from the demons, Naruto thought, snarling while clenching his fists. He turned to Kiyomi and gently spoke. You have your fill first, Amato-chan. Kiyomi gave a grateful smile, while her stomach grumbled. Thanks, Nai-kun. She then proceeded to dig into the meal, eating exactly half. Are you sure you've had enough, Kiyomi-chan? Naruto asked in concern. Yup, was the simple reply he got. Okay then, I suppose we'll have to look for food in the forest tomorrow or borrow some from one of those shops, and we'll need to get those seeds too. With that said, Naruto dug into the small meal. After the matron had stormed back into the room, snatched the plate up and left, slamming the door again. Both siblings sighed. If they didn't bathe in the lake again today, they wouldn't be clean. It's time for bed, Kiyomi-chan, Naruto said gently to his beloved Yamato. Hi, Naruto-kun, she mumbled out, rubbing her tired, drooping eyes. Naruto grabbed her hand and gently led her over to the bed. She climbed in and under the thin sheet first. Naruto soon followed her. He wrapped his arms around her tightly in a protective embrace, one she always felt safe in. Good night, Kiyomi-chan, Naruto whispered gently, kissing her cheek. Good night, Naruto-kun, was the sleepy reply before they both drifted off to sleep in a comfortable embrace. Next morning 5 a.m. orphanage bedroom. Naruto took the piece of paper titled Kiyomi and Naruto's plans from the previous day out of his pocket. He glanced at what was written on the paper. Train to get super strong. Join the Ninja Academy. Graduate from the Ninja Academy. Leave the village. It was a really short list, but they didn't know what else to write or what would be in between these events. But they were the essential key roles in their dream of leaving the village. He was sure they would have a lot more things added to the list as time went on. Obviously more detailed, dangerous, and secretive plan, but this was a good start, great motivation. If he trained to be strong and joined the Ninja Academy, they were according to the list halfway done. This would obviously be false, but beggars can't be choosers. One thing they had come up with of utmost importance was below the short list of 4. The training schedule. It was a surprisingly detailed plan for what 4-year-olds could come up with. He would obviously be adding more to his training load, but he wouldn't tell Kiyomi. He would work twice as hard as her. He felt as her Aniki it was his responsibility to get stronger to protect her. Even if they were only minutes apart, he wouldn't make her suffer. He would endure any amount of pain, be it self-inflicted from training, or a beating from the villagers. Glancing at the paper one more time, he decided to carefully read the instructions of the training regimen. 7:00 m. 8:00 m. Morning warm-up 30x push-up, sit-ups and crunches 8:00 m. 9:00 m. Hand seals practice 9:00 m. 9:30 m. Breakfast break 9:30 m. 11:00 m. Jutsu practice 11:00 m. 12:00 p.m. Meditation 12:00 p.m. 1:00 p.m. Lunch break 1:00 p.m. 4:00 p.m. 2x physical exercise, 5x running laps, 50x push-ups, sit-ups, crunches, pull-ups, squats, 100x kicks and punches each limb 4:00 p.m. 5:30 p.m. Cool down, hand seals, jutsu practice 5:30 p.m. 6:30 p.m. Shogi, go, mind stimulus activities 6:30 p.m. 7:00 p.m. Go back to orphanage have dinner, talk 7:00 p.m. 8:00 p.m. Study theory 8:00 m. 9 o'clock am free time, talk 9:00 p.m. 9:30 p.m. bed. After reading the schedule again, Naruto made a mental note to try and do double of each exercise, to get the best as quickly as possible. He got started. 15 minutes later, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Naruto finished chanting his first set of 50 push-ups. It wasn't quite double. However, he would add a single repetition every day to become stronger than he was the day before. On to sit-ups now, he thought. Naruto started on his sit-ups, keeping track of each one in his mind. 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, 11, 16, 17, 18, 19, 27, 28, 29, 35, 36, 37, 48, 49, 50. 15 minutes have passed since he started doing the sit-ups, bringing the time to 5:30 a.m. Now on to meditation to relax the muscles and clear the mind, as well as revising the training schedule. After 10 minutes of meditation, he decided to move on to hand seals practice for 20 minutes, bringing the time to 6 a.m. Next he decided to go over some basic Fuinjutsu theory. It was actually in one of the scrolls from Yuga. It was on creating a ceiling scroll for the remainder of the time until half an hour until Kiyomi awoke. He would have half an hour's nap each day then. As it came to 6:30 a.m. Naruto put his notes and papers away and went back over to Kiyomi's and his shared bed. He silently climbed into it and moved next to Kiyomi, wrapping his arms around her protectively, then kissed her cheek and drifted off into a nap until Kiyomi awoke him. Some 30 minutes later Kiyomi awoke. She looked over to her Nai-chan and smiled as she was wrapped in his arms. She shook him gently while whispering for him to wake up. After a few seconds his eyes flew open, he smiled at her and kissed her forehead. "Good morning, Kiyomi-chan." Naruto spoke softly to her. "Morning, Naruto and I," replied Kiyomi in an upbeat attitude, presumably because they agreed to start training today. Time skip 1 week. Blue eyes snapped open as Naruto awoke from the previous night's slumber. He peered out the small window that was in the room. Judging by where the sun was in the sky, it was about 7:30 a.m. Suddenly he remembered the date today, October 10th. Today marked Naruto and Kiyomi's 4th birthday, and as such they had agreed to skip the morning routine and instead relax. It should be an exciting day for most children, but they weren't normal. Their birthday was never a happy occasion. The people of the village always seemed more rowdy. Naruto silently vowed that one day it would be a joyous occasion. Not long after Naruto had awoken, Kiyomi stirred. She looked over and saw Naruto already awake. "Anai-kun," chanted Kiyomi brightly, smiling wildly, having remembered today was their birthday. On second thought though, her smile faltered. It wouldn't be a good day, but they would have the best day they could make of it. Naruto, taking note of Kiyomi's unhappy look, decided to lighten the mode. "Well, happy birthday, Kiyomi-chan. I do have something for you. However, I'll give it to you later on when we're out in the forest, so that no one takes it from you." Kiyomi brightened up considerably. "Really, thanks so much, Naruto-kun." She frowned again. "But I don't have anything for you," she said with her previous downtrodden expression in place. "I've told you before, and I'll tell you again, Kiyomi-chan. I don't need anything from you. Spending the day with you and making you happy is the best birthday present I could have." Naruto declared, smiling at her. With that said, Kiyomi brightened up once more. Really, Naruto-kun, you're not just saying that? She questioned. Naruto remained smiling. Yes, really, Kiyomi-chan. Now, hopefully we can get out of here into the forest soon, so I can give you your present. Just as Kiyomi was about to reply, the door swung open, and one of the matrons stood in the doorway giving the most disgusting glare possible. Alright, you little demons! She shouted with fury. She stomped over to the both of them, picking them up by the scruff of the neck, dragging them through the orphanage and towards the door. You demons are old enough to live on your own. We can't provide for you monsters anymore. You're on your own, she snarled, literally throwing the twins out and onto the hard concrete. In mid-flight, Naruto managed to maneuver himself to break Kiyomi's fall. A set of footsteps sounded near the door, signaling the approach of the other matron. She had what little belongings the two owned in her clutches. Alright, you demons, here is your stuff, and keep the mattress, it's infected with your filth now. With that snarled out, she tossed the belongings to the ground near the pair. This birthday couldn't get any worse, could it? They had both been kicked out of the orphanage, literally. After being kicked out, they found a nice spot in the forest to set up a sort of shelter and camp. Their spot was in the large hollowed-out tree that they have both grown fond of. Luckily, around the area, within several meters, is a multitude of berries and nuts from the various trees. There is also a nearby stream to catch fish and wash. It was time to get to work and built a suitable shelter. Kiyomi, Naruto spoke. At her nod, he continued. Can you please help me gather some of these bigger, thicker, heavier branches? Yes, sure. And Ai-chan, are we going to use them to build shelter in the hollowed part of the tree? Questioned Kiyomi after facing him. Naruto nodded. Yeah, we'll get started now. It shouldn't take too long. I just want to make a sort of front out of the tree, and maybe lay some leaves and grass on the ground to lay the mattress on. She nodded in agreement. Collecting the wood was simple enough. They both were able to snap the branches and move them to the tree. The design for the shelter was simple. Have them angled and piled upon each other to make a sort of front entrance to the hollowed part of the tree. Having such a simple design allowed them to finish making it within several hours. Conveniently enough, when they were gathering the wood, there were a couple of old used kunai lying around here and there. They would be extremely useful in hunting, fishing, and collecting the nuts and berries, as well as fending off any predators. After relaxing a little bit in the newly setting up shelter, Naruto and Kiyomi agreed that it was best if they collected some of the nearby berries and nuts in case any people or wild animals ate or picked them, so that they would still have some. Kiyomi decided to pick the nuts whilst Naruto got to work gathering the berries. An hour or so of time has passed and both Naruto and Kiyomi have gathered enough of each respective food group for a few days' worth, if rationed correctly. Naruto, with the help of Kiyomi, made makeshift pouches to carry the berries and nuts in, to clean and transport them. The pouches are made from a large piece of cloth that was actually once one of Naruto's shirts. It had become so old and worn that it wouldn't fit him, and was unwearable. Naruto and Kiyomi gathered a fairly large stick that they could still carry and sharpened the stick into a spear-type weapon for extra self-defense against the wild animals, catch fish or other small prey they could eat. The shirt they used could be ripped neatly into 3 identical-sized pieces, one used with a forked stick and some vines for a net, for fishing, and the other 2 for transporting. After finishing the creation of the tools that they would be using for however long they stayed out here, they each ate some of the various berries and nuts that they had gathered earlier on. Alright, Kiyomi, I think we should go to bed and get up bright and early to start on our training, Naruto said enthusiastically. Kiyomi beamed at him and started rambling excitedly. Yeah. Alright. I can't wait, Naruto and I, let's go to bed then. Naruto shook his head, motioning for Kiyomi to go into their makeshift home first. He followed right behind her. After getting settled in, Naruto decided to say some last-minute things. Sorry, today turned out to be such a crappy day for our birthday. Naruto apologized, feeling quite guilty and regretful he couldn't even give his Amato one nice day. Kiyomi looked back at him with her beautiful, big, wide purple eyes. She smiled and replied, It's fine, Naruto-kun, at least we're finally out of that shithole, nah? Naruto chuckled. I guess you're right, Kiyomi-chan, I guess you're right, thanks, good night, Amato-chan. With that said, he kissed her forehead and cuddled up to her. Yeah, no problem, good night, Aniki, she replied, snuggling into Naruto's warmth. They both proceeded to drift off to sleep. Time skip, end of the month. Today marked the last day of an entire month. Remarkably, the Uzumaki twins have survived off the land by themselves for the entire time. They ate fruits, nuts, and cooked wild animals to survive. There was luckily a nearby stream to wash themselves in, drink from, and clean the food. Every day for hours on end, the duo of Naruto and Kiyomi trained. Throughout the length of the months, hundreds, possibly even thousands of repetitions of various exercises such as push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups, squats, kicks, and punches. Those are to name just a few of the exercises. Many kilometers have been run doing laps around their area, even around the wall of Konoha several times. Their endurance was truly unreal. Just as it was approaching midday, a puff of smoke erupted in the middle of the area. The Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, had found them. Well, in actuality it was the Anbu Nico, or Yuga rather, whom had spotted them and informed him. That was a few days ago. Naruto, Kiyomi, what are you doing out here? The elderly man yelled questioningly. Naruto snorted in amusement, as if he didn't already know. The orphanage. He spat the name out like it had a foul taste. Kicked both Kiyomi-chan and myself out a month ago. On our birthday, snarled Naruto, furiously yelling out the last part. Hiruzen played the part of looking shocked quiet well. I'm immensely sorry, Kiyomi, Naruto. Can you forgive an old man? I have an apartment arranged for such an unfortunate occasion. Naruto narrowed his eyes. If he already had one arranged, he obviously already knew no one else was treated like this in Konoha after all. He'd play the obedient child for now though. Naruto plastered a big fake grin on. Yeah, sure Gigi, no problem, we don't need the mattress or anything except our clothes, right Gigi? Naruto questioned the old man. Said old man smiled kindly. No, just your clothes. He stated simply. Both children nodded, and proceeded to grab their spare sets of clothing. Alright, let's go then Gigi, Kiyomi proclaimed. Hiruzen chuckled but nodded. Yes, please follow me, he commanded. They did. Their Gigi after had promptly led them to their luxurious apartment. You're right, he snorted. Real luxurious with all of the mold and how rundown the dump was. It was a small one-bedroom, bathroom apartment. Complete with a small kitchen, the whole thing was probably only 2 or 3 times the size of their orphanage room. Oh well, they'd make do. Over the past week settling in they have gotten the fruit and seeds, they planted the seed and with the help of some borrowed books about gardening, and speeding up the process with Chakra, the plants are starting to sprout. They have found multiple trees with edible fruits, and nuts, and made some traps for meats, and catch fish. Currently we can find Naruto and Kiyomi laying out and discussing their training regimen. So how about we just change the schedule that we made before, but make it a lot harder, to get the best results. 7:00 m, 8:00 m, morning warm-up 100x push-up, sit-ups and crunches 8:00 m, 9:00 m, hand seals practice 9:00 m, 9:30 m, breakfast break 9:30 m, 11:00 m, shuriken jutsu 11:00 m, 12:00 p.m, meditation 12:00 p.m, 1:00 p.m, lunch break 1:00 p.m, 4:00 p.m, 5x physical exercise, 5x running laps, 100x push-ups, sit-ups, crunches, pull-ups, squats, 200x kicks and punches each limb 4:00 p.m, 5:30 p.m, cool down, hand seals, jutsu practice 5:30 p.m, 6:30 p.m, shogi, go, mind stimulus activities 6:30 p.m, 7:00 p.m, go back to orphanage have dinner, talk 7:00 p.m, 8:00 p.m, study theory 8:00 m, 9 o'clock am free time, talk 9:00 p.m, 9:30 p.m. bed. Later we'll borrow some books from the library like Fuinjutsu, and get some weighted clothing for training and a go and shogi set for the mind. Naruto explained to Kiyomi. She nodded enthusiastically. Yeah, it sounds real good Aniki, using the old one as a base form for any future training we will do, and we can just add more reps to this as well as a few other things as we get further. Naruto smiled at her, already liking the sound of that. Whenever doing any training Naruto always pushed himself to the limits and beyond. When doing laps of a field he would do them until he was about to collapse, then he would drag himself to a resting place which was usually under a tree. The same went for push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, squats, kicks and punches. He would do the same amount of reps as the schedule but would do as many sets as possible, until he was in the same state as doing the laps, collapse dragging himself to a resting spot. One night he found a set of old weights in one of the weapon shop's trash bins. He retrieved it of course. He had to make a makeshift sled to pull it home. There were 5, 1 for each limb, as well as 1 for the torso, and you could make them lighter by removing some of the weight inside. It was well worth the hour or 2 it took him to retrieve them. They would be useful until he got good enough in Fuinjutsu to make those gravity seals he read about. Incredible stuff that Fuinjutsu. Time skipped 9 months. After the first month of the new physical conditioning routine, Naruto increased the repetitions to 120 push-ups, sit-ups, squats, then he'd have an hour's rest and start again. Because of his healing ability he would do this least 10 times a day, that was 1200 of each exercise. Because of this he changed up the morning and evening routine. Between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. Naruto would do hand seals practice, meditation and have breakfast. His lunch break was at 1 p.m. and lasted 30 minutes. Between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Naruto would play strategy games, have dinner, free time and talk. 6 months after the start of his conditioning he now does 300 reps of each exercise, 10 sets in the span of each day. That's 3,000 of each single repetition per day. He was ridiculously strong, adding to the fact that he recently added weights into the training that stacked an extra 15 kilograms. He finally set up some targets in Kiyomi-chan's and his apartment. Initially he could only hit 6 targets, while Kiyomi could 5. Over the 6 months that have passed both have proven that they could hit all 10 targets, 8 with their eyes closed. Naruto also borrowed a book on the human anatomy. They both quickly picked up important information that would greatly help them out in the future. By the end of the 9th month Naruto has upped his total body weights to 30 kilograms from the 15, after 3 months of strenuous training. He has slightly altered the training program for maximum efficiency. He does 300 push-ups, then have a 10-minute meditation cool-down, 100 sit-ups followed again by a meditation, 300 pull-ups, meditation, 10 laps around an area of approximately 10 kilometers, meditation, hold a bridge for 10 minutes, meditation, 300 punches with each arm, meditation, 300 kicks with each leg, meditation, shuriken and kunai throwing practice, followed by some hand seals practice. He would do 15 sets of this insane exercise schedule. That's a total each day of 4,500 reps of push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, punches and kicks, 150 kilometers of running each day and 150 minutes of holding a bridge position. It was one hell of a workout, especially for one so young. Naruto, however, does all of this without complaint or hesitation. He didn't stop doing any of the tasks partway until he completed a whole task. Only then would he get a drink, then he would continue. This routine was usually from Monday to Friday. Saturday and Sunday, however, were slightly altered training regimen. Every 2 weeks on the Sunday afternoon he would up his weights to grow faster and strongest quicker. Hokage Monument. Naruto gazed impassively, seemingly bored at the pathetic village from atop the Hokage Monument. I'll show you not to mess with Kiyomi-chan, and I'll show you all, Naruto thought darkly in his mind, whilst clenching his fists. With one last menacing glare he used the Shunshin no Jutsu from the top of the Hokage Monument, and back to the shitty apartment they called home. Chapter 02, Sharingan? The next morning, after a brief talk with Kiyomi last night, today the twins planned to use the Henj no Jutsu to enter the civilian library, more specifically the Academy to Genin Shinobi section of the library, and planned on hiring out books of basic maths, strategy, chakra control and Fuinjutsu. Now some might be wondering why a civilian library would contain anything to do with shinobi. The reason was because the Shinobi Academy was actually directly run by the Civilian Council. They also had slight influence over fresh out of the Academy Genin. The council think that they usurped control of the Academy, and such from Hiruzen. However, he actually manipulated them and let them have it in hopes of a lowered Academy standard passing more people. Sure, they'd be slightly worse off than normal, but those that passed the Jonin secondary graduation test would quickly be whipped into shape. For these reasons the civilian library had a small specific shinobi section. The level of the jutsu was only up to low genin level. However, it had every aspect of a shinobi up until that level. Taijutsu, ninjutsu, genjutsu, shurikenjutsu, kenjutsu, fuinjutsu, medical ninjutsu, and chakra control. These were all of the aspects of shinobi that were up to low genin level that could be found in the civilian library. Naruto opened his eyes and took in the small room which was their bedroom. The single futon that they shared was in surprisingly alright condition, compared to the rest of the house. Naruto checked out the window and gathering from the sun's position in the sky believed it to be about 7 a.m. He groaned and rubbed the sleep out of his eyes. He could hardly wait to proceed with today's plan of getting some shinobi information from the library. Naruto turned his head back towards his Amato-chan. He smiled at her sleeping form, but decided to wake her up. She'd be pretty mad if he didn't. Kiyomi, whispered Naruto, shaking her gently before continuing. Come on, wake up, we've got to get started on today's plan. Remember, we're using henge to get inside the library. Her body shifted slightly as she groaned a little. She lifted her head up off the pillow and looked at Naruto. Upon seeing his smile she returned a brighter one, eager to get into the plan. Yeah, I know, I really can't wait. And Aikun. Oh, I wonder what they'll have. How many jutsu? I hope we don't get notice. Oh, let's go soon, Tebane. She yawned before replying excitedly, as showed from her verbal tick. Naruto chuckled at her antics. I'm excited too, Kiyomi-chan. Let's get dressed, have breakfast and head out then, he said to her. She nodded in agreement. Naruto changed into a black t-shirt with a red spiral in the center on the front. For pants he wore simple cream cargo shorts. Mito wore a similar shirt but in deep blue. She also wore cargo short the same color as Naruto's. Moving out of their shared bedroom they opted to have a few cups of ramen each. True, it was their favorite food, but it being not very healthy or nutritious they only ate it a few times a week. It was more because it was cheap in price. Alright, can we go to the library now, Naruto and I? Kiyomi questioned, eagerly wanting to go. Naruto gave her a grin. Yes, we can, Kiyomi. Remember though, we have to henge in an alley near the library in order to make it, and not be spotted by any ninja. Kiyomi nodded. The whole entire plan would be in jeopardy if people knew they could do any jutsu. They'd probably try to ostracize them even more by claiming that the demons are regaining their demonic powers or some such nonsense. Naruto and Kiyomi stepped out the front door before Naruto locked it, and pocketed the key. Since it was still fairly early in the morning, the streets were overly populated for the walk to the library. They of course still got the usual hateful, icy glares. Some people simply choose to not acknowledge their existence. Most glared, however. Upon reaching the quite large building known as the library, Naruto checked around and saw that no one was actually out the front, much to his relief. Still being cautious though, he discreetly peered around the side of the building, down an alleyway to see if it was clear. Upon inspection there was no one there. He grabbed Kiyomi's hand and dragged her down the alley. Naruto had them both hidden behind a part of the wall in order to make sure they weren't spotted, nor were there henges. The twins simultaneously went through the 3 practiced hand seals and quietly whispered henge no jutsu. A small puff of smoke enveloped their forms. It cleared a moment later, and in their places stood a simply dressed pair of civilians. The male looked about the age of 16, roughly standing at 5'6", with short brown hair and black eyes, identically clothed to Naruto sans the red spiral. The female was about the same age, 16. She stood slightly shorter than her male companion at about 5'4", with shoulder-length blonde hair and sapphire eyes. She was clothed in a simple deep red dress that stopped at the knees. Nodding to each other at the well-done hinges, they proceeded into the library. Upon entering the library, they were greeted with the smiling face of the female librarian by the name of Suki. Upon her asking if they needed help with anything, both shook their heads. No. She ushered them inside and told them if they needed any help, just come get her. Academy to Lojinin section. Within about 30 seconds of entering the library, the twins found their desired section. It was really convenient that no one else was there. They moved in the aisle to have a look. Wow, look at all this, Nai-chan. Kiyomi spoke excitedly with awe, having never seen so much knowledge in one place, especially something that would help them out. Naruto nodded his head in equal awe, before whispering. Yeah, just remember, only use Nai-chan and I'll use Amato-chan so no one picks up on us. Yeah, I know, let's get to it then, Nai-chan. Replied Kiyomi in a hushed whisper. Let's find some books on basic maths, strategy, chakra control and fuinjutsu. There will probably be a few different types of each book, so we'll have to sort them out, which ones to hire out first. We can hire the others the next time we come here, Naruto said. Kiyomi nodded before helping Naruto search for said books. The first one they spotted was surprisingly the basics of fuinjutsu. There was only one type, however multiple copies of it, about 6 if Naruto counted correctly. Flipping through the book, Naruto saw that it was the theory behind creating a storage scroll, as well as instructions. He guessed it was such a dangerous art that it wasn't really learned by people under high genin. As such, the only book that could be found and used safely by academy students to low genin level were storage scrolls. The next book on the list found was on strategy, though near it was a few Go and Shogi boards, complete sets. He picked up a copy of the book as well as a set. This would really help develop their minds, as a tactical ninja, general thinking and IQ. Chakra control, another vital element for the Uzumaki twins, any shinobi and kunoichi really. It went double for the twins though, having the reserves they did at their young age. If they neglected doing any control exercises, they never be able to perform half of the simpler jutsu, including genjutsu and iryo ninjutsu, medical ninjutsu. They weren't necessary skills, however it wasn't necessarily casting genjutsu. Dispelling genjutsu needed great chakra control too. If either or both Uzumaki wanted to learn any iryo ninjutsu, though they would need extremely precise chakra control, it just made sense to get the damn book. Surprising, there were several copies of a book on maths. They ranged from simple to more complex. He would have thought it would have been kept in a different section. Maths, however, was needed for any career, and everyday life in general. It was logical to have the books throughout the place. Done with the picks of what they wanted to hire, they headed to Suki at the front desk, by the entrance. Suki smiled at the teens upon seeing them with some books that she presumed they were going to hire out. Are you just hiring these out today? She questioned them. Upon 2 nods she continued, I haven't ever seen you in the library before. Do you have a library card? If not, then you have to fill out some forms for a library card. The twins shook their heads and Naruto spoke up. No, either of us has a card. Could we please take the forms and fill them out to get a library card? Suki nodded and held out a pair of forms to them before saying, I'll give you your library cards when they're filled out. I'll mind the books whilst you fill them out if you would like. Yes, please and thank you, Naruto said. Kiyomi and he proceeded to collect the forms and give Suki what they wanted to hire. The forms were simple to fill out, not much was needed, as such they were filled out within 5 minutes. Upon handing them to Suki, they got a kind smile and a library card each. Suki quickly jotted down what they hire out, and told them that they could keep them out for a duration of 2 weeks. If they needed them longer, they would have to come back and rehire them. After exiting the library with their hired out things in a bag each, they went around the corner of the library, and the same alley they used the henges to get into the library. Both quickly undid said jutsu and preceded a fast-paced walk back home to their apartment. Naruto quickly searched around in his pocket for the key and fished it out. Unlocking the door and entering the building, he quickly locked it again from the inside once Kiyomi had entered too. Alright Kiyomi, let's put these in our room and get started, Naruto said, glancing at the clock on the wall, taking note that it was 10 a.m. Yeah, alright Nai-kun, let's get started. Tebane, cheered Kiyomi, raring to get into it all. Naruto and Kiyomi's room. Naruto and I think chakra control would be a good thing to get started on, don't you think? Kiyomi half asked, half questioned. Naruto nodded in agreement. Yeah, we'll start with that one, he replied. So, what's the book say? Naruto queried. I'll start reading it aloud, give me a second, stated Kiyomi back. Alright, chakra control is a term that refers to the control of one's chakra and aptitude at controlling it. Chakra takes time and a great deal of training to gradually build up. Thus, the key is not actually having chakra, but being able to sufficiently control and conserve it. Everyone has chakra, but only skilled ninja can correctly mold and manipulate it to its fullest extent. Molding chakra involves the extraction of energies from both the body cells and the mind's consciousness, then mixing them together within the individual. The amount of each energy will differ based on the type of technique the ninja wishes to execute. In other words, a ninja could create too much or too little chakra for a given technique, resulting in the chakra being used inefficiently. In addition, even if a ninja is able to mold the correct amount of chakra, if they cannot manipulate the chakra properly, the desired technique will not be as effective or will not execute at all. Wasting energy will also create weaknesses like early exhaustion, which would hinder the ninja's capacity to fight long-term battles. General training methods for improving one's molding and manipulation of chakra are the leaf concentration, tree climbing, and water walking exercises. As an in-between stage, some ninja can partially manipulate their chakra. This means they can use their chakra, but not effectively control it, which results in a poorly executed technique. To manipulate their chakra more easily, hand seals can be used. With these hand seals, users can control their chakra with higher efficiency, allowing them to execute their techniques more effectively. Different techniques also require the use of different hand seals. When creating a ninjutsu, the two methods of manipulating chakra are referred to as shape transformation and nature transformation. Shape transformation deals with controlling the form, movement, and potency of chakra. Nature transformation usually deals with changing the physical properties of chakra into an element. There is also the nature transformation of yin and yang, which deals with changing the ratio of spiritual and physical energies within chakra. These two methods can be implemented separately or together in order to create a technique. The general term for the exact molding and proper manipulation of chakra is called chakra control. People with skilled chakra control are usually Iryo-nin, medical nin, or sensor types, both of which requires extreme control over chakra to be effective. Genjutsu also requires good chakra control. A good way to build up chakra in the body is to spin it into a tight spiral. Whether to spin the chakra left or right is dependent on the way the user's hair grows, either to the right or left. An opponent can negate a technique by absorb it, and reversing the spin of the chakra within their own body. Most techniques take a certain shape that is usually precisely controlled from one hand to another, through chakra. A good example of this is the Yondaime Hokage's Rasengan. Based on which ninjutsu the ninja uses, the amount of chakra will be different, as would the element the ninja employs. The 5 main elemental types are Katon, Futon, Raiton, Doton and Suiton. Each ninja has the potential to better utilize one of these styles and potentially more. Kiyomi took in a breath of some fresh air and sighed in relief. That was a whole lot of reading she just did. Well, it looks like we're starting with the leaf concentration exercise, Kiyomi-chan. Naruto stated to Kiyomi. Yeah, looks like it, Naruto and I. Well, let's get started. Tebane. We'll have to pick some leaves off some of our plants. Let's go. Kiyomi excitedly explained and dragged Naruto over to one of their pot plants. Naruto chuckled as they each plucked a few leaves in case they needed spares. Well, let's get to it. After practicing the chakra control for 3 long, arduous, continuous hours on end, both Naruto and Kiyomi mastered the leaf concentration exercise. It was now 2 p.m., and time for some well-deserved lunch before looking at doing the next chakra control exercise. Time skipped 30 minutes. Just finishing their lunch, both Naruto and Kiyomi headed back to their bedroom to check what the next chakra control exercise was that they had to do. Alright, Naruto and I, what's the next exercise? Questioned a curious but eager Kiyomi. Let me see, hummed Naruto, flicking through the pages of the book. Here we go. The next exercise is tree climbing practice. Naruto started, having found the exercise before continuing on with the explanation and instructions of the training. Tree climbing practice is a training method used to gain more skills with chakra control. This training involves focusing a fixed amount of chakra to the bottom of one's feet, and using that to climb a tree without using one's hands. If the stream of chakra is too weak, the user will lose their footing on the tree and fall off. If it is too strong, the user will be pushed away from the tree, causing the tree to break around the point of contact, and the user will fall. Well then, Kiyomi, let's take a kunai each to our special area and get to the training. Spoke Naruto to Kiyomi excitedly. Are the kunai for marking our progress on the tree? Asked Kiyomi. They sure are, Kiyomi-chan. Replied Naruto, already having got 2 kunai, and gave one to Kiyomi. Well, let's go then, Databane. Kiyomi cheered in excitement. Training spot. Alright, Kiyomi-chan. Now we just have to gather chakra to the soles of our feet. Naruto started closing his eyes. Having formed the ram seal, he started to channel chakra to his feet and hold it. Then we run at the tree in order to have some momentum to help us while we first start. He finished. Naruto's eyes snapped open with the determination to succeed shining in his eyes, or as a certain green spandex-clad jonin would say, burning with the flames of youth. He sprinted at the tree full force, kunai in his hand at the ready in order to mark however far he progressed up the tree by cutting said tree. Upon reaching the base of the tree, he still kept concentrating on maintaining a chakra flow to his feet and started to run his way up the side of the tree. All the whole Kiyomi looked on in awe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Naruto counted in his head the steps he had taken up the tree. He noticed that it was getting somewhat harder, and it felt as though he might fall off at any moment. Don't fall now, come on Naruto, concentrate. He shouted in his head. Naruto pushed a slight amount more chakra to his feet to try to stabilize himself. He continued his trek upward. He continued to count in his head along the whole way. 7, 8, 9, 10. He chanted. Finally he lost his footing. He quickly slashed the tree where he landed and jumped between the trees down to the ground, landing softly in a crouched position. 10. Not ad for a first try. I think I might have to practice for a couple of days to fully master this technique, Naruto thought to himself. Wow! Great job, Nai-chan. Alright, it's my turn. Wish me luck, Tebane! Kiyomi excitedly exclaimed to Naruto. He smiled at his precious Yamato before replying, Yeah, good luck, Yamato-chan. Alright, you can do this, Kiyomi, she thought to herself in determination. Kiyomi closed her eyes and proceeded to do exactly the same as Naruto had done before her, the ram's seal and gathering chakra at the soles of her feet. Once she felt ready, her eyes snapped open and she took off towards the tree. She was determined to do as good if not better than Naruto. Arriving at the base of the tree next to the one that Naruto had used, she made sure to keep concentrating on the flow of chakra in her feet. When she was the appropriate distance from the base, she started to run up the tree much like Naruto had done. She had her kunai in hand for whenever she had to mark how far she got. She could only hope that she could do well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Kiyomi chanted each step in her mind, never losing focus of the chakra flow in her feet, and monitoring it, and how she stuck to the tree. Yes. Come on, Kiyomi, keep it up, you can do better than Nai-kun, she added an afterthought with absolute determination. She continued her way up the surface of the tree, continuously concentrating on her chakra control in her feet as well as counting each step she took. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, she shouted in her mind. As soon as she hit the 14th step, she slipped a little bit. Thinking quickly, she marked the spot on the tree where she had gotten to. She jumped between the trees and landed softly on the ground, much the same as Naruto had done previously. Naruto-kun! I got 14 steps up the tree, Tebane! How far did you get? Kiyomi gleefully and proudly shouted to him. Naruto's face lit up with a huge grin before he gave her a massive hug. Wow, great job, Kiyomi-chan! You did better than me. I only made it 10 steps. I'm so proud of you. Kiyomi's had a massive grin much like Naruto's. She was beaming at him. Thanks, Databane! She yelled back at him, returning the hug. Well, let's get back to work. I hope we can fully master this in a few days. Naruto told her. Kiyomi quickly nodded in agreement. They got back to the training. Time skip 1 week. Yuga decided that today she would visit Kiyomi-chan and Naruto-chan in order to teach them the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. True, it was a Kenjutsu, forbidden jutsu, however it was actually an Uzumaki clan jutsu. It didn't originate from Konoha, even though most thought that it did, and Tobarama Senju took credit for it. The reason that the Uzumaki clan developed the technique was because of their large and dense chakra reserves. They had trouble doing the normal Bunshin no Jutsu. Elemental manipulation variants of the Bunshin no Jutsu were not usually taught until later on. Because of the dense, large amounts of chakra the Uzumaki clan possessed, anyone from ages 10 and up could successfully create at least a half a dozen Kage Bunshin. For a normal ninja it was dangerous because of the chakra drainage the jutsu required as well as the fact that it divided the users. For the Uzumaki, however, it came naturally. It was specifically designed for their clan though. She sped across the rooftops until she reached her favorite children's apartment. She felt terrible with the piece of crap they had to live in, but the Sanname assured her that it was the only building that he could have them live in for a reasonable price. She didn't believe him. He was the Hokage, and his word was law. Another thing that made her not trust him as much as she used to was when she offered to take them into her home. He spouted some bullshit about how it would affect her as a kunoichi. She would be distracted by them. It was a total load of crap and they both knew it. They were clearly independent children as they had been caring for themselves in the orphanage ever since Sarutobi deliberately replaced the original kind matron that headed the place. She was a young girl around the age of 17. She held no animosity towards the twins and actually took care of them. As soon as they turned 3, however, she was replaced with an older woman whom specifically loathed Kiyomi and Naruto and blamed them for the Kyuubi attack, as well as thinking they were the Kyuubi incarnated. When she questioned Hiruzen on why he placed the bitch as she put it in charge of the place, he denied that he himself had done in, and it was the civilian council. Another load of shit. He acted as if a mob of arrogant civilians had him bent over the table screwing him. She had been present in several of the council meetings before as an ANBU guard and she had seen it, how easily the Sarutobi Hokage had the egoistical, power-hungry civilians manipulated, and they apparently thought that they were the manipulators. That was actually quite humorous, them civilians manipulating a bunch of ninja. She broke out of her thoughts when she landed on the roof of the building opposite to theirs. She jumped off the roof and landed softly in front of their door. She took a deep breath and knocked. It only took about 30 seconds before the door was opened and she was let inside, and led to what she assumed was the kitchen table, judging by the old table and chairs. What are you doing here, Yugao-sensei? Naruto questioned upon facing her. She paused to think on how to word it before replying. Actually I wanted to show you both another jutsu, if that's alright? Yugao questioned the last part. Kiyomi's face brightened upon the mention of learning another jutsu. Really, what jutsu is it, Tebane? She asked Yugao excitedly. Well, Yugao started. I was thinking of teaching you the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. I believe in a few years upon the time you go to graduate the academy you will be unable to successfully do the Bunshin no Jutsu, no matter how good your chakra control is. This is a substitute for the Bunshin no Jutsu. I guarantee because of your massive reserves you'll always be able to use it. Now the best aspect of this jutsu is that it creates a solid Bunshin of yourself. When the Kage Bunshin dispels you will retain all of the clone's memories and experiences. In theory, if you were to use, say, 10 kage bunshin to train, you would learn 10 times faster. This only doesn't apply to physical exercise. You will keep the memories of, say, muscle memory, and the experience of a taijutsu style. But making a clone do push-ups or the likes will not add to your own physical conditioning. When Yuga finished explaining the jutsu, she looked down and noticed both Kiyomi's and Naruto's starry-eyed expression. Yash, let's learn it now, Yuga-sensei Tibeo. Naruto exclaimed with glee at the idea of learning such a jutsu, only to cover his mouth horrified at saying his cursed verbal tick. Yuga giggled at hearing it. I guess that answers my question of if he also inherited Kushina-sensei's verbal tick. She thought in humor. Yeah, I can't wait, databang. Chimed in Kiyomi, just as excited if not more so than Naruto. Alright you two, there is only a single hand seal, it's the bunshin seal. Yuga explained, showing them the hand seal. She checked them and was surprised that they got it perfect the first time. They must have been practicing all of the hand seals, she thought with pride. Alright, do this hand seal and channel a fair amount of your chakra and check the results. She told the duo, which did just that. Both of the twins succeeded in producing 5 kage bunshin each, surprising Yuga immensely. Wow, I didn't expect you to create that many. Very well done, you two. Yuga praised them. Both children smiled at her. Yeah, we've been doing chakra control exercises so that wouldn't waste chakra on doing jutsu, Naruto told Yuga, stating why they could make more than she thought that they could. Yuga nodded in understanding. What exercise are you doing? She asked them in curiosity. We've mastered all 3 of the one in the book, Kiyomi said enthusiastically before continuing. The leaf exercise only took several hours to complete. After that we moved on to the tree climbing exercise. We mastered that in 2 days. The final one was the water walking exercise, which took us the last 5 days to master, and it turns out that I'm naturally better than Naruto and I at chakra control. We know that as our reserves continue to grow we'll have to keep practicing chakra control though. When Kiyomi finally finished recounting what they'd done to Yuga, she was floored. That is extremely impressive, Naruto. Kiyomi, keep up the great work and you'll be splendid ninja when you graduate the academy, she said seriously. Both Naruto and Kiyomi could only nod their head. Yuga caught a look at the clock on the wall out of the corner of her eye and realized the time. Sorry Kiyomi, Naruto, but I have to go again. Duty and all, I'll visit when I have time again. And please call me Yugaone or Yugao-chan. Being called sensei makes me feel old, Yuga told them. Alright Yugaone, see you later. Farewelled Kiyomi cheerfully. Yeah, bye Yuga-chan, said Naruto. Yuga nodded with a smile and donned her Nico mask before jumping off with a final wave. Bye kids, were her final thoughts as she left. You want to go to bed early, Naruto-kun? I'm tired from all of the training, Kiyomi asked Naruto. He nodded in agreement. Yeah, I'm tired too, Kiyomi-chan. Let's go to bed. Time skip 5 years after Kyuubi attack. Over the past 3 months both Naruto and Kiyomi continued to learn a lot through the scrolls, books and other things that they hired out from the library every fortnight with the use of the Henji no Jutsu. Both of the twins found out that they were naturals in the art of Fuinjutsu. From the only book they had managed to get they easily understood the art. It was almost as if Fuinjutsu was their language, and as such it took them very little time to fully master creating a storage scroll. The morning of the day before their 5th birthday, Kiyomi woke up and noticed that she was awake before her Aniki for once. She sat up and shook him to try and wake him up. After shaking Naruto several times he finally stirred. Good morning Naruto-kun, Kiyomi greeted warmly. Kiyomi-chan, can we please sleep for a bit more? I was up late last night trying to make some modifications to the storage scroll, Naruto asked her, though it was more of a statement. What? Without me? She questioned, looking hurt. You needed the sleep, now come back and cuddle with your Aniki. I'll tell you what I was trying to do later, and we do need more Fuinjutsu scrolls though. We'll have to find a way to get more, maybe ask the old goat. He yawned out. She mumbled something and pouted cutely, puffing her cheeks out. She huffed. Fine Naruto-kun. She laid back down, cuddling into him. He wrapped his arms around her frame, and they peacefully fell back asleep. 1.5 hours later, 8:30 a.m. Kiyomi cracked her eyes open for the second time that morning, looking out their small window into the bright sunny day. Judging by where the sun was, it was a bit after 8 a.m. She rolled back over and looked to see Naruto awake as well. Good morning again, Naruto-kun, greeted Kiyomi. Naruto chuckled. Good morning again, Kiyomi-chan, he replied, giving Kiyomi a kiss to the forehead. What do you want for breakfast, Kiyomi-chan? Humming at the question for a bit, she gave it some thought. What did she want? How about we have some fruit and a cup ramen each? We haven't had one in a while, and they are nice and simple to make, she replied upon finally deciding. Yeah, alright, let's go make it then, agreed Naruto. For the next 10 minutes Naruto and Kiyomi prepared themselves several pieces of fruit for breakfast. Upon opening the cupboard for some ramen cups he luckily spotted the last 2. God damn it! Naruto shouted in frustration. He sighed. Kiyomi-chan, we need more ramen. I'm going to go and buy some after breakfast. Is there anything else we need? Yeah, we need more milk, Naruto-kun, Kiyomi replied, answering Naruto's question. Alright, I'll get that too. Let's have breakfast first, then I'll go and you will stay here, alright, stated Naruto. Kiyomi started to protest. However, one stern look from Naruto silenced her, and she begrudgingly agreed. I'm fine, but you better be safe, and I-kun, she replied with a cute pout. With that they both sat down at the table with their prepared breakfast. With a cry of itadakimasu, they began to chow down. After finishing breakfast and clearing the table, Naruto got ready to leave. Now Kiyomi, just make sure you lock the door and stay in the bedroom with the door locked, and under the covers. I'll be back soon. With the parting advice, Naruto kissed her forehead, grabbed Gamachan and proceeded to head out. Kiyomi sighed and mumbled something about overprotective brothers, as she locked the door and moved to their bedroom, which contained a single bed. She always felt warm and safe with her Naikun. Naruto strolled through the streets of the red light district. Even though it was the most rundown sector of the village, he actually felt safer there. Some of the people were just indifferent to him. A few even acted like both Kiyomi and him were normal people, though a lot of them still held hatred. A lot was better than all. Yes, it was much nicer than all of the other looks that they got. He sighed as he got closer to the better parts of the village. The looks slowly began to change until all that remained were looks of hatred and loathing. He clenched his fists. He'd show them all someday. Store. He entered one of the only stores that allowed them any entrance. Products, however, cost an absolute fortune. He picked up a few cups of instant ramen and a 2L carton of milk. According to the price tags, it would cost him a total of 600 Rio. He knew it would be much more, he sighed. He purchased the items and it came to 1800 Rio. That's right, 3.5 times normal price. Other things were up to 5 times more, but it depended on what he bought. This was the exact reason that they could only buy cheaper things like cup ramen and essentials like milk, rice or bread. The amount of the milk and ramen was about a tenth of their combined allowance for a fortnight, just for some milk and several cups of instant ramen. After paying the ridiculous price and putting up with the hateful glare of the store owner, he left the store with his head down, furiously glaring at the ground. It was so damn unfair. How could they get anything proper if it was almost a tenth of their combined fortnightly stipend for some milk and instant ramen? That's why they didn't get many vegetables. The prices were at least 10 times the amount. All of the store owners figured that the demon brat / bitch would die sooner or later from malnutrition. Oh, how wrong they are. You see, with the way they are being treated, Naruto devised a way to get fresh fruit and vegetables. A simple but ingenious idea. All he has to do is occasionally steal some seeds from the shops. Hey, if they are going to screw him and Kiyomi-chan, he would get the last laugh. They paid enough for the rotten fruits and vegetables at first. Why should it pay for what's simply theirs or rightfully denied from them? About 3/4 of the way home, Naruto felt that something bad was going to happen. His negative emotion sensing was going off. Upon his feeling something off, Naruto quickly put his groceries near the corner of a building on the way to Kiyomi's and his apartment. He quickly backed out into the open when all of a sudden 3 figures darted around him, trapping him from going anywhere. Before he knew it, he was fully trapped. Looking up at the imposing figures that had just trapped him, and he felt his blood run cold. Great, just freaking great. Just his luck, the 3 that had trapped him were average height men. Clearly shinobi by the fact that they had kunai and shuriken pouches and Konoha hitaites. The one directly in front of him was slightly taller than the other 2, about 5 feet 9 inches with fairly straight chin-length brown hair and a pair of beady black eyes. The man to Naruto's right was the shortest of the group. Standing at 5 feet 6 inches, he had short black hair and blue eyes. The last member of the group and to Naruto's left was a man standing at 5 feet 7 inches. He had dark gray hair and green eyes. All 3 of the men were sneering at Naruto. Oh, this wasn't going to be good. One of the attackers, the tallest of the group, came from directly in front of Naruto. He was running extremely fast for Naruto, but probably only genin level speed in reality, which isn't fast for shinobi. Naruto, however, could hardly keep up, giving him not much of a chance at even defending himself. Before Naruto knew what was happening, the shinobi had slammed his massive foot into Naruto's chest, sending him crashing back into the building behind him. All Naruto could feel was pain, and he groaned in it. A few of his ribs were cracked, possibly broken from his guess. God, it hurt. A shadow was cast over him. He looked up fearfully, and came face to face with the same shinobi who had just kicked him. Only now he had a kunai poised to strike Naruto in the chest, to end his life. As the kunai was coming toward Naruto, he realized that it was actually going in slow motion. This is it. I'm sorry, Kiyomi-chan, I can't protect you any longer. No, I must survive. I have to survive. I will survive, Naruto thought with newfound determination. Acting on pure instinct alone, Naruto brought his hands up, fingertips aimed at his attacker's chest. Teshi Sanan, 10-finger drilling bullets. He didn't know why he had yelled that out, but as soon as he did, the terrifying shinobi fell down, dead. A pool of blood started to form around the unmoving body. He was alive! His instincts helped him. What was it he called out? Ah, yes. Teshi Sanan. 10-finger drilling bullets. He'd have to do some research and see what it was. He turned to the second shinobi and jumped whilst lunging, aiming his fingertips again, this time one at his head, the other at his chest. Teshi Sanan, 10-finger drilling bullets. Naruto roared again. The effect was instantaneous. The body hit the wall behind it from the force behind the attack, and blood trailed down his forehead and poured from his chest, a brutal sight for the soon-to-be 5-year-old Naruto. He didn't even regret nor care about killing at this point. His thoughts were determined and elsewhere. 2 down. 1 to go. He could do this, then he could get back to Kiyomi-chan. He stopped a little ways away from the final shinobi and he finally noticed that his vision was clearer than before. In fact, he could almost swear that he could see what the wretched man was going to do by looking into his eyes. A pair of two Tomo Sharingan spun rapidly, as the final ninja in the group started doing hand seals at a rapid pace, not paying attention to Naruto's eyes. All however was in slow motion for Naruto as his Sharingan analyzed the jutsu. Because of the months of practice both Kiyomi and him have put into hand seals he could easily keep up, he started doing the same hand signs. They both simultaneously shouted the respective just name. Katan, Gokaki no Jutsu, Fire Release, Great Fireball Technique. Both of the fireballs crashed into each other creating a thick smoke cover for Naruto to execute his attacker, then grab his groceries and make his getaway. With that plan of action in mind Naruto decided to put said plan into motion. Naruto ran around the man quietly. As the man started to back out of the smoke, Naruto was already behind him, his index and middle fingers aimed at the final attacker's head. When he came into the appropriate distance Naruto muttered, Teshi Senan, 10-finger drilling bullets, and quietly and watched as the body fell. What the hell just happened? I could read his movements and copy his jutsu, he thought. He looked in a window and gasped at seeing his reflection. His eyes, they were just like those red-eyed peoples from that clan. He'd find out later. He was tired, and it was time to get home. After seeing the reflection in the window and his new eyes, Naruto grabbed his groceries and ran home not stopping for anything. He ran as fast as his little legs would carry him home. A few minutes of running and he saw the building in sight. He ran whilst feeling out his pocket for the key. He got it out just as he reached the door. He hurriedly unlocked the door and threw it open. As soon as it was open he bolted in and locked it, jamming a few chairs and the kitchen table against the door. Got the key for Kiyomi's and his room, unlocked it, shut it, and stumbled over to the bed where Kiyomi was already napping. He tiredly moved the covers, slid in, and snuggled up with her. He then proceeded to drift off to sleep. He awoke in a sewer-like place. He looked around. Hello, is anybody in here? He shouted out. Great. Why the hell am I in a sewer? I just got home, something's not right, he thought suspiciously. Just then breaking the silence was an evil booming laughter. Wahahaha. So my jailer has finally graced me with his presence. The last bit was snarled sarcastically. Who are you? Naruto questioned fearfully to the darkness. The room suddenly seemed to emanate some light. A large grin along with glowing red slitted eyes was seen glowing in the darkness. He shuddered at the malicious grin and vile chakra he could literally feel emanating from whatever was in a cage. I am the great Kyubi no Yoko, the booming voice declared. Chapter 3, Explanations. Why you're the Kyubi? Questioned a nervous and afraid Naruto, though he tried to keep calm, which was extremely difficult under the circumstances. Yes I am. Now what are you doing here, Ninjen? Sneered the Kyubi viciously. Naruto flinched at the tone of voice and was about to reply only to be interrupted. Kahahaha. You should see yourself, Ninjen. Oh god, your face. It's priceless. The Kyubi cackled madly with laughter. Let it be known that Kitsans were tricksters through and through. Let me change into something more comfortable. With that said, a blinding light and smoke clouded Naruto's view of the giant behemoth. Kyubi no Tenchi. Whispered Naruto, completely convinced it wasn't a demon fox but an angel standing before him. Said Tenchi heard however, and she blushed lightly. While no one except for her siblings and the Rikudo Sannin had ever seen her human form, she had never been called that before. Oh, he was such a little flatterer. Anyway, Naruto-kun, why are you here? She asked. I don't know. I killed some people and I fell asleep and now I'm here. Oh god, I killed those people. Naruto started as realization hit him that he killed 3 people within minutes, and it was so easy too. But if I didn't then something could have happened to Kiyomi, and I can't let that happen, he thought. If I have to kill people to protect her then so be it. I don't have to like killing, but these bastards in Konoha don't deserve our forgiveness. I'll just think of it as payback. I can't let them know that I'm willing to kill them, though I'll also have to tell the old goat that it was in self-defense, and it just happened and I didn't want to nor mean to. I'll tell him that I used a kunai to kill them, one that I keep on me for protection. In case anything like that ever happened, that is if the old goat somehow links the incident to me, conveniently, though I don't believe there were any witnesses. Alive at least, that is. Where are we? He asked curiously, having finished his previous ramblings. It is your mind, Ninjen, your mindscape to be more specific, was the reply he received. Well then, if this is my mind, then why are you here? Are you sealed in me like something is a storage scroll? Inquired Naruto, curiosity getting the best of him. You're very quick and quite intelligent, aren't you, Naruto? Yes, it is like that, like a storage scroll. I wasn't killed on that night 5 years ago, the Kyubi started. Naruto snorted. Well, obviously, what type of human could kill one of the Biju? If you were killed, why would everyone hate Kiyomi and me? For that matter, why have we never heard of a Biju being killed by anyone before if it was possible? Yes, we Biju can't be killed, we'll just be reborn. It may take months, years, but we are chakra constructs that will just reappear, though it is bothersome. The cursed Yandame Hokage split my powers into my yin and yang half and sealed my yin into your Yamato, Kiyomi. After that he sealed my leftover half, the yang chakra, into you. Why did you attack the village that night? Not that I would have minded if you destroyed it. It wasn't entirely my fault. You see, that night I was still sealed in my former Jinchuriki, your mother, Kushina Uzumaki. Not many people know this, but a female Jinchuriki seal weakens during childbirth. Your father, the Yandame, Minato Namikaze, was present to keep the seal intact whilst she birthed you two, her children. That bastard is my father? Naruto spat, having learned he was responsible for Kiyomi, and his shitty hatred-filled life. Kurama simply nodded. Shortly after you were both born, a masked man attacked and held you hostage, demanding the Jinchuriki. He almost killed the both of you, but Nanake's team used his prized Haraishin no Jutsu to save you both. After hearing this, Naruto was slightly thankful to the man and mulled over forgiving him. He'd give it more thought after hearing the rest of the recount. After that, the masked man teleported Kushina-chan and via her myself out of the village. He took advantage of the now breaking seal to control me. Through the use of the repugnant Sharingan, with the level of the Mangekyo, he was able to control me through the seal. He summoned me into Konoha, and that's when it all started. I was about to destroy most of Konoha with my Baijidama, however Nanake's team arrived and used his Haraishin to teleport the attack and then himself and I out of the village, again. After that he had a little scuffling match with the masked man who claimed to be Madara Uchiha. Lies, the poser's chakra was nothing like Madara team's. Kurama roared with anger, snarling out Madara teams. After the battle, Nanake's team made a speech about how he had to make both of you twins into Jinchuriki for weapons for the village, because it was for the good of the village, as Yandame team put it. Kushina-chan was completely against the idea, and even though Nanake's team broke the Kuchiyos no Jutsu contract the masked team had with me, I was still under the effects of the Sharingan. The effects of the controlling take a few days to completely wear off. My anger and the Sharingan clouded my judgment, and I didn't want to be sealed again, so I struck out hoping to end you and not be sealed again. Kushina-chan and the team jumped in front of my claw, however. Kushina-chan to protect you, and Nanake's team to save the weapons. Kushina-chan unlocked her Mangekyo before she died, and Nanake's team sealed me and you. After hearing the recount of that night's events, Naruto decided to voice his opinion on the matter. That was his father. He is not my father! Naruto roared, snarling, Sharingan spinning wildly. A black and blue visible outline of chakra emanated from him. He's trash, a sperm donor and nothing more, he finished before calming down and deactivating his dojutsu. I'm sorry I killed Kushina-chan, I didn't want or mean to, Kurama said softly. Naruto looked her in the eyes and could see the sincerity. I believe you started, Naruto. Were you still under the effects of the Sharingan, and it clouded your judgment like when trying to kill me, your next prison? Inquired Naruto. Kurama nodded her head sadly. Yeah, the masked team's Sharingan's genjutsu hadn't completely worn off yet. It's okay then, Kurama, it wasn't your fault, we'll pay back the masked imposter team, Naruto assured her. Kurama pulled Naruto into a hug, his face pushed in between her breasts. Thank you so much, Naruto-kun. Said person's face was blue and he was choking. See, can't be our breathe, Kurama-chan. Kurama released her grip on him and he gasped in air. He almost died. But what a way to go. Sorry, Naruto-kun, I couldn't help myself, I'm just so happy, she almost yelled out, all the while rubbing the back of her head sheepishly. Now there are some things I have to tell you, she trailed off seriously. Naruto, catching the change in emotions, immediately stared at her in rapt attention. If you ever need to borrow my power, feel free. I must warn you, however, my power will be extremely difficult to control and will be malevolent. Even by letting you use it, you will not be able to use Biju mode, or even a controlled chakra cloak. It will be a more malevolent cloak. The reason for this is that the Rikudo Sennin made our bodies in a way that if people tried to use our power without our consent, it would be extremely malicious and incredibly difficult to control. While it is true that I am giving you permission to use it, because of the seal that Yandame team used, it is as if I am not allowing you to use my chakra. Added to the fact that the seal filters in my yokai into you automatically, that also counts as against my will. This will also cause bodily harm, even though it will look as the cloak is protecting you, the initial Jinchuriki state. The tailless cloak is harmless and gives you a power boost. The only time you will ever be able to use a full Biju mode or a controlled chakra cloak is when you get the key to the seal and manually undo it. Then and only then will there be no interference with the seal and me letting you use my chakra. Naruto nodded, taking in all of the useful future information. So I will be able to control some, but it will be harmful to my body and extremely difficult? Asked Naruto. Kurama nodded before answering. Yes, and if you try and use all of my power without the key, at the 8th tail, Yandame team will appear and reseal me. After that though, it will act and I will get free because you are forcing the use of my chakra. Naruto grimaced. He really didn't want to meet his father, though he did for the sake of decking the prick. You are and will be very special, Naruto-kun, Kurama said. You have absolutely astonishing potential. You have the blood of probably the strongest clans flowing through you, the Kagaya, Senju, Uzumaki, and although I loathe it, Uchiha. You hail from all of these four extremely powerful clans. You could become the most powerful shinobi to ever walk the earth, possibly greater than even the Rikudo Sennin, she proclaimed, lost in her own little world at the possibility of her jailer being the strongest shinobi. Naruto's sweat dropped. She honestly seemed more into it than he did. Kurama gained a slight blush, thinking about the distant but near future. And if he is that strong, in about decade perhaps I will finally have a worthy mate, someone to dominate me. Kahahaha. She cackled madly inside her head. On the outside she finally gained a light nosebleed. Naruto could only think she had finally lost the plot. Perhaps it wasn't the best idea to completely trust a Biju with questionable sanity? When she started cackling aloud, he moved back a few steps and awkwardly stared at the ground, hoping she came back to earth or the mindscape soon. After coming out of her happy place she continued, You know how kiyomi and you can sense negative emotions. At this Naruto nodded, and Kurama continued, this is my special ability that my Jinchuriki can harness if I so choose. Naruto had tears brimming in his eyes. Thank you so much Kurama-chan, without it I might have been. He shivered at the picture in his mind, some naive retard in an orange jumpsuit screaming about becoming the best Hokage ever. Databeo. Kurama's nose crinkled in disgust at the thought. I mightn't have gotten along with you so well at that point. Naruto nodded in understanding and agreement. I wouldn't blame you, though it would make a good cover, a mask if you will for around the village. Well, the academy, at least no one would really bother me then. Kurama nodded with his idea. Yes, it would. After all, a smart demon is a dangerous demon, plus a shinobi's best tool is deception. Kurama decided that the next topic to address was which parent hailed from which clan. Now I'm going to explain which clans which parent is from, so listen up Naruto-kun. She told him. At his nod she continued. Kushina-chan is half Uchiha, half Uzumaki. She is related to Madara team. Her chakra is like his, it is very potent and ominous. Her red hair along with her talent in Fuinjutsu is proof of her Uzumaki lineage. She also has the Sharingan, and in her final moments unlocked the Mangekyo Sharingan as I have previously stated. So that leaves Minato team's blood. He is obviously the Senju Kagaya, though he never had white hair or the dots on the forehead of the Kagaya. My guess is his Senju blood overpowered the Kagaya, making his physical traits more Senju. He also never unlocked the Shikatsumiyaku, though only very few unlock it. I believe you have already, and Kiyomi-chan has the possibility to awaken it. Naruto nodded, taking in all of the information about his clans that she knew. He really did have scary potential. Now that we're finished with that, I want to show you a very handy jutsu that I picked up over the years. I'll be teaching you the Chi-Bunshin no Jutsu, Blood Clone Jutsu. Naruto nodded with excitement and some glee at the prospect of learning a new jutsu, adding to his already impressive repertoire. Well, impressive for a 5-year-old. After learning the Chi-Bunshin no Jutsu, Blood Clone Jutsu, Kurama started to teach Naruto some Genjutsu. With the aid of his Sharingan, Naruto could automatically detect up to some C-rank, and even some B-rank Genjutsu. He wouldn't really need to practice until he reached the 3 Tomos Sharingan, and possibly the Mangekyo if he ever unlocked it. Kurama suggested that a few nights every week he comes into the seal to practice, mainly with his Sharingan to use Genjutsu in order to control people or knock them out. The reason he was training so hard was in order to be able to enter the ninja library or other places he couldn't. Mainly the ninja library though, as to learn all of the jutsu he could. After all, he wanted to become the most powerful shinobi to ever live. The next day, as soon as Naruto and Kiyomi had finished their breakfast and after Naruto had finished explaining last night's events to Kiyomi, they were interrupted from their idle chatter by their door being knocked on. Naruto-kun, who do you think that is? Kiyomi questioned. I don't know Kiyomi, but whoever it is I can't feel any malicious intent from them. You stay here, I'll open the door and see who it is. Naruto replied to his precious Yamato. Getting up from the table at which he was seated, Naruto proceeded to the door. I wonder who it could be. I know they don't mean harm because it's impossible to hide any negative emotions from Kurama-chan, thus my sensing abilities. Naruto thought, his thoughts going a mile a minute. Could it be Yugao-chan? Upon reaching the door, Naruto slowly twisted the knob and started pulling it towards himself. I guess I'm about to find out. When the door was fully open, he gazed upon a beautiful long raven-haired woman who looked to be in her early 30s. She was smiling at him. The woman has a slightly round face, large soft charcoal black eyes, and pale white skin. Her beautiful long shiny raven hair ends at her perfectly heart-shaped rear end. Her torso is lean but toned and come up to her large D-cup bust. She has 2 bangs framing each side of her face. Ah, Naruto-kun? She asked him warmly. Yes, he replied, dumbly nodding his head, still having no clue as to who this was. Who might you be? He questioned sharply. Her eyes softened and she gained an even warmer look, if that was possible. My name is Makoto Uchiha. I was your mother's best friend, was her reply. Naruto's eyes widened, his thoughts going wild. Is this really her? Why is she here now? She doesn't seem like the type of woman to abandon us. Did she abandon us though? I'll have to verify that it is her though. Here goes. He questioned to himself. If you are who you say you are, then who is my mother? I haven't ever been told. Naruto asked her. He knew from the conversation with Kurama-chan, but it was the best question he could come up with. Makoto's eyes widened in shock. They didn't even know their mother's name? Kushina Uzumaki she was known to everyone by, or Kushina Uchiha known as only to me, Makoto finished. Those last words confirmed she was who she said she was. She was the only person that his Ka-chan ever told, well besides Namake's team, but he's dead. You are who you say you are, you may come in, Naruto said. Makoto's smile widened. So you did know? I guess it's fair enough, I am the only other person who knows her true last name. Thank you, Naruto-kun, she replied, following Naruto inside, they both at the table. Who is this Naruto-kun? Was Kiyomi's question. Remember this morning when I told you about Ka-chan's best friend? Naruto asked her. At Kiyomi's nod he continued. Well, this is her, one Makoto Uchiha, Naruto exclaimed, gesturing to the beautiful raven-haired woman who merely smiled. Kiyomi's eyes widened. So Makoto-san, Naruto started. Only to be interrupted. Please Naruto-kun, Kiyomi-chan, call me Makoto-chan or Makoto-ka, San makes me feel old. Both children nodded. Why have we never met you? Naruto queried. Makoto's look saddened. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Just before Kushina-chan gave birth to you both, I gave birth to my little girl Sayuri-chan. I also have my eldest, Itachi-kun. He was becoming a genin around the same time, so I had to juggle looking after Sayuri-chan and Itachi-kun becoming a shinobi. Also with the fact that the Sandame never released where you were to me or anyone, I couldn't find you. I had a Kage Bunshin look for you once a week, but it would look suspicious if the wife of the Uchiha clan head was snooping around the village and the orphanages looking for the Jinchuriki twins, especially with the rumors that the Uchiha clan controlled the Kyuubi into attacking the twins. Both nodded at her reasoning. She didn't abandon them and she was in a difficult situation. Either could blame the poor woman. She was a single person against the whole village looking for two people. Plus, if the old goat wanted to and got suspicious that she was looking for them, then she could be executed for treason. She couldn't afford that. It's alright, Makoto-chan. You couldn't do anything, but you're here now and that's all that matters. Naruto stated, and Kiyomi and he both gave her wide smiles. Makoto's eyes teared up. Thank you both, Kiyomi-chan, Naruto-kun, she said, giving them both warm, bone-crushing hugs. I saw what you did yesterday, Naruto-kun. I was on my way over to see you, but when you got home you locked the door and from what I could hear you blocked off the entrance. That's why I left visiting until today. Are you alright? She questioned softly. Naruto gained a fierce look and nodded. Yeah, I'm alright, Makoto-chan. I was a bit distraught when I got home, but I met Kurama-chan, the Kyuubi, and she explained what happened and I am fine with it. I'll even do it again if I have to. Anything to protect Kiyomi-chan. Kiyomi's eyes watered at Naruto's words. She gave him a big hug. Thanks, Naruto-kun. I'm sorry you had to do that, she said back to Naruto, who simply nodded. You unlock the Sharingan, the Uchiha clan's Kekkei Genkai. While I can't train you directly, I'll send a clone over once every week to check up on you. I'll also give you a scroll with what I can on the Sharingan. I'll also have to drop all of Kushina-chan's Fuinjutsu equipment. She gave me backups of everything. Naruto nodded and thanked her. I'll have to bring Sayuri-chan over one day to meet you, or maybe you can come over to the compound? She said, sort of questioning the subject. Both children's faces lit up with a smile, and they nodded eagerly. Oh, before I have to leave, I got something for the both of you, Makoto started. She pulled out a piece of paper from God knows where and it had a Fuinjutsu matrix on it. A storage scroll, Naruto stated. Makoto nodded at his statement. She channeled some chakra into it, and a puff of smoke erupted. Happy birthday! Exclaimed Makoto. Sitting on the table was a few packs of shuriken and kunai, as well as a cake with the words Happy Birthday written across it in icing. Both Naruto and Kiyomi gained looks of glee, with twin shouts of thank you, chanted over and over again. She smiled warmly. It was a beautiful feeling she got watching their happiness as they sliced the cake up and ripped open the shinobi weapons packets. Oh, Kushina-chan, you would be so proud of them, she idly though, smiling as they handed her a slice of cake. Today was a great day for the twins and for her as well. If only she wasn't a Kage Bunshin, and she could bring Itachi-kun and Sayuri-chan today too. She vowed silently that next year it would be the five of them. After eating the cake and a quick farewell, with promise of sending a Kage Bunshin as much as she could to visit them and to give them Kushina's Fuinjutsu things, Makoto left them. From then on, Makoto would create Kage Bunshin regularly to keep an eye on and check up on Kushina's children, little Kiyomi-chan and Naruto-kun. In the past she had often saved them from any mobs or anything that she could. Regretfully she couldn't always. But they understood she had children too and couldn't look and watch after them 24/7. Alright, Kiyomi-chan, we have to unlock your Sharingan now, don't we? Started Naruto, turning toward his twin. Looking at her eager nodding, he couldn't help but smile. Okay, I believe the best way to unlock it is through us sparing. If I am moving quicker than you, which I will without my weights on, and if you keep yours on and you have to keep channeling chakra into your eyes while doing it. At her nod he continued. I'm certain you will unlock at least the one Tomo Sharingan. I believe it depends on your emotional distress that you will unlock that level of the Sharingan. For example, I really didn't want to die and could only think of how horrible it would be for you alone in this village. As such, and with my will to protect you, I jumped a level in the Sharingan. With you, however, I could never hurt you, and you know you're always safe, so you will probably only unlock the single Tomo's sharing. Kiyomi looked quite sad. She would only unlock the single Tomo's Sharingan. Kiyomi, it's not about the level you unlock. It is unheard of for a 5-year-old to unlock a single Tomo's Sharingan, let alone a 2 Tomo's Sharingan. At that information she went back to her cheerful self. Well then, let's unlock me a Sharingan. Tebane. Naruto grinned. Yes, let's. Time skipped 2 weeks. Over the past 2 weeks, Makoto gave Naruto and Kiyomi all of the Fuinjutsu scrolls that Kushina gave her. Naruto used his shadow clones to master a few of the barrier Fuinjutsu so that he can leave Kiyomi with a Chi Bunshin, blood clone, safe in the house. She even bought them some food, even homemade meals occasionally, and even some clothes. This was why Naruto vowed that he will always protect Makoto. She is so kind to them. She is one of the only people he would protect with his life. Anyone whom dared try and harm her would die. Just last week, when himself and Kiyomi were walking around the outskirts of the village, Naruto and Kiyomi had stumbled upon a peculiar sight. A worn, semi-destroyed building that adorned the Uzumaki clan spiral, as he had found out from the scroll he got that were his Ka-chan's. It turned out that the building was actually the Uzumaki clan's mask storage temple. Looking through the inside, the entire back wall is decorated with masks. It was actually kind of creepy. In all four corners of the building there were several seals that when swiped with Uzumaki blood the entire shrine reverts into a storage scroll with kanji for shrine on it. The shrine aside from the masks had several Uzumaki Fuinjutsu scrolls in it along with what each mask is for. The Fuinjutsu scrolls that were in the shrine had a seal that stores clone memories, and slowly adds them to the owner's memory. Another seal is a chakra suppressing seal, which would come in handy for stealth. The third and final seal that came in the 3 Fuinjutsu scrolls is an elemental chakra test seal. Unlike chakra paper, the Fuinjutsu matrix just lights up the appropriate elemental kanji that the chakra input contains. What interested Naruto greatly was there was not 5 but 7 different kanjis for 7 different chakra natures. Fire, water, earth, wind, lightning, yin yang and yin yang. These were the 7 kanjis and elements. Within the 2 weeks that have passed since Naruto unlocked his 2 Tomo's Sharingan, Kiyomi unlocked her 1 Tomo's Sharingan, and they started their relationship with Makoto. Today they have a scheduled meeting with the old goat as Kiyomi and Naruto have dubbed him in private. In public it was of course still GG to not arouse suspicion for their secret loathing of the lying, deceitful old bastard. You ready, Kiyomi? Questioned Naruto to the bathroom where she was currently getting ready. Yeah, I'll be there in a moment was the reply he got. He shrugged his shoulders and waited. Surely enough 2 minutes later Kiyomi came out, and the blue dress Makoto had given to her and her beautiful red hair was down. He couldn't resist the cry of kawaii that escaped his lips as he glommed her. Alright, let's go, he said with enthusiasm, grabbing her hand as he dragged her out the door. They held hands all the way to the Hokage Tower in order to feel safe, as they always did. Hokage Tower. After bypassing the receptionist and proceeding to arrive at the Hokage's office door, Naruto barged on and followed closely by Kiyomi, whose hand he was dragging behind him. We're here, Gigi, announced Naruto cheerfully to the elderly Hokage. Said man smiled pleasantly. Good morning to you too, Naruto-kun, and you as well, Kiyomi-chan. Both children nodded. Hiruzen turned more serious. I trust that both of you don't know why I have called you here today for this meeting. Both children could only shake their heads negatively. He sighed before continuing. I have called you here today to say that in about 3 months the academy will start again. I would like to enroll you both. Would you like to enter to become shinobi? Naruto gained a questioning look before asking a question which he knew the answer to, but he was playing the naive brat. What exactly is a shinobi? A very good question, Naruto-kun. The Sarutobi started with a grandfatherly smile. A shinobi are the people who protect the village, Konoha no Sato. They are heroes. He looked for any recognition and noticed how their eyes gained a somewhat understanding look. A hero! Kiyomi exclaimed exuberantly. Like the Yondaime, Tebeo. Naruto continued. Yes, like Yondaime-sama. Hiruzen finished, nodding in agreement. Oh yes, I'd love to become a shinobi hero like the Hokage are. I want to protect the village. I want to become the Hokage. Naruto shouted gleefully. The Sarutobi's thoughts turned even more gleeful than Naruto's act did. Yes, they're playing out exactly how I expected them to. They're exactly like loyal weapons should be. See Danzo, old buddy, old pal. We didn't need them to be emotionless tools, like you would have had them becoming your root. Excellent, you meet the 3 admission requirements. Love the village and hope to help preserve peace and prosperity. Have a mind that will not yield, able to endure hard training and work. 3. Be healthy in mind and body. I'll make the arrangements as soon as I can. You'll be expected to turn up in about 3 months. At the beginning of the new year of the academy start. I'll call you for a meeting a week before you start so we can get you the thing you'll need, okay? He spoke sincerely. It will last for 5 years before you can graduate, alright. Hi Gigi. The twins simultaneously chanted. Great, I look forward to seeing the both of you next time. I believe we have a ramen date scheduled for next week. Hi Gigi. See you then, Tebeo/Tebane. The twins replied simultaneously again, looking forward to seeing Gigi again. Yes, goodbye, Naruto-kun, Kiyomi-chan. The elderly Hokage farewelled. Things were going well for him. After exiting the Hokage Tower, Naruto sneered at it. Damn old goat, he didn't want to waste his time at the pathetic academy for children. They would most likely limit Kiyomi and his potential, sabotage them because of the irrational hatred and loathing they felt for the twins. Naruto gained a wicked grin. He was officially a genius. They could just send a Chi Bunshin, blood clone, to the academy and gain the memories. It was sort of like the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu in that respect. He will tell Kiyomi of his ingenious plan once they arrived back at their shitty apartment. If he said anything out in the open it could compromise them going to the academy. Well, sending a Bunshin in their place, but they would still technically be there. Just not in person per se. They would both actually attend the first day of the academy to see how it actually is and goes. Back at their apartment. After entering their rundown apartment complex, Naruto told Kiyomi to sit at the table so that he could explain his plan of not going to the academy, but yet still going. Kiyomi found herself confused. How could you go somewhere but not be at the same place, at the same time? I just didn't make any sense to her. Alright Kiyomi. Started Naruto. You might think that is impossible to be in two places at once, and normally you would be correct to assume that because even Kage Bunshin will dispel once hit with enough force, which usually isn't that much. Kiyomi nodded at what Naruto had said so far. That's the exact way her thoughts had gone so far, and she still didn't quite get what he was hinting at. Alright, so no other clones give back memories, correct? She nodded again, getting a little bit frustrated with how he was delaying it. She puffed out her cheeks and pouted cutely. Just get on with it, Naruto-kun. Naruto chuckled at her and ruffled her hair. She kept pouting, making Naruto chuckle again but continue. Well, that isn't entirely true. Remember the other Bunshin that Kurama-chan showed me? It's so simple, Kiyomi-chan. Chi Bunshin no Jutsu, blood clone jutsu. As soon as Naruto had said that, she felt like banging her head against the wall. How could she forget that simple yet brilliant Bunshin? Great idea, Naruto-kun, and we don't have to waste our time in that shithole. She glomped him, relieved by the fact that they didn't have to go to the shithole as she had just dubbed it. Thanks so much. Databane. Haha, no problem, Kiyomi-chan. I didn't really want to waste my time there either. We will go for the first day to see how it is though. HN, she replied before giggle. HN, Naruto grunted before they both laughed. Time skipped 4 months. After seeing how the academy was on the first day, they decided that they would never go again besides the final day when graduating. Since then they have just been sending Chi Bunshin, blood clones, for that stupid academy the old goat had insisted they go to. PFT, he wouldn't take no for an answer. While the Chi Bunshin, blood clone, of Kiyomi and himself went to the academy they trained, he shuddered when he got the memories back from the Chi Bunshin, blood clone, and he had a fucking stalker. Him of all people, that had to be illegal, right? It was so creepy. She would hide behind poles and trees. It disturbed him to no end. He didn't feel safe at night. He often wondered how the blood clone could handle it, poor guy. He felt honest sympathy for his Bunshin. Naruto ordered both Kiyomi's and his Chi Bunshin, blood clone, to be dead last. Kiyomi's to get better in the tests and academics while Naruto's gets better in the physical side. But they both have the exact same overall spot. Now you might be asking why it is they did this. The reason is simple. As Kurama stated to Naruto that night, a smart demon is a dangerous demon, so by acting the fool and doing extremely bad they are safest. Funnily enough, no one has questioned their ability, not even Gigi. The real training was going exceptionally well. Naruto was getting quite good with his Sharingan, but not over-reliant. He even managed to complete the Chakra affinity seal that's instructions were in the shrine. Kurama-chan told him to use it, but in a few years some elements might appear as some may still be dormant. Kiyomi was doing well with her training as well, unlocked her 2-tomo Sharingan, either had unlocked the 3-tomo level but figured that it would come in time, and with battle experience. Kiyomi also unlocked the Shikatsumiyaku. Within a month from finding getting Kushina's Fuinjutsu scrolls, Naruto learned how to create a chakra storage seal of sorts. The first purpose was to collect the Sandame's chakra. The second and main purpose is for Naruto to fill it with his chakra and put it on a Chi Bunshin for the academy, and so that he can freely leave the village, but Kiyomi is still in the village and protected. Along with this, he could erect a barrier Fuinjutsu around their apartment that only people keyed into the seal via chakra can get in. Anyone else will simply not be able to get within the barrier. The only people currently who are keyed in are Naruto, Kiyomi, Makoto, Sayuri, Yuga, and the Sandame for confidential reasons so that nothing is suspicious. It was actually quite funny how Naruto got the Sandame's chakra to be keyed in. He made a storage scroll that doubled as a chakra storage scroll. The chakra that is used to receive the objects from within the storage scroll is stored in a separate seal, while the objects from within the scroll are pulled out. The items Naruto placed in the scroll were a pair of Google that the Chi Bunshin would use in the future. Kiyomi and Naruto went to Gigi with the found scroll to get him to show them how to use a storage scroll and to see what was inside. Long story short, they kept the found scroll in goggles, learned how to use a storage scroll, and they also successfully obtained the old goat's chakra to use with the barrier. If he didn't have these precautions, then he would never leave Kiyomi in the hellhole known as Konoha no Sato. Naruto and Kiyomi have learned even more Fuinjutsu from the Uzumaki Shrine scrolls and some of Kushina's scrolls. Currently, with the level of chakra control and chakra Naruto has, he can make 30 clones, and he makes and leaves 20 constantly working in the Fuinjutsu scrolls he received from Makoto and the Uzumaki Mask Shrine. The remaining 10 are left to do other training exercises with. Each couple of weeks to a month, Naruto can make more clones than before. Naruto also found the Kagaya clan Kekkei Genkai Jutsu, along with an extremely old and lost taijutsu style, the Rokushiki style. He remembered how he got them both. It was his first and only trip out of the village so far, and he hasn't had time lately with learning the taijutsu style, Fuinjutsu and the Shikatsumiyaku Jutsu. Flashback start. He had been out of the village for a few days and was a henge that made him look 16. The reason was so he wouldn't get recognized. He just arrived in Nami no Kuni to get some more food, and he was strolling around and came across a sight that made his blood run cold. Tsunami. Tsunami was terrified. She has been kidnapped from her home, Nami no Kuni, and is being held captive by some bandits. She remembered how it all began. Flashback start. Dad, I'm going to get some stuff for dinner. We're out of everything. I'll be back in an hour or two. Alright, Tsunami, just be careful and I'll see you soon, replied Tazuna to his only living relative, his beloved daughter, Tsunami. His wife had passed away when Tsunami was younger, around the age of 5. She died of an incurable cancer. I will see you soon, Dad. With those final words she departed on her way to the shops to resupply on food for dinner. Shops. Alright, I have everything I need for the next week, provided we don't eat too much, or get any visitors. She put all of the items in her basket up to the counter, and waited to be charged the bill. Is this all, dear? The clerk questioned. She was a woman in her late 40s, early 50s if Tsunami were to guess. Yes it is, thank you. She replied. Okay, the lady smiled. This comes to 4780 Rio. Alright, here's the money. Tsunami said, handing over 5,000 Rio. Thanks, dear, and that's 220 Rio change. Have a good day, love. The older woman waved her goodbye, smiling cheerfully. Yes, you too. Thank you. Tsunami replied. Returning the lady's smile, she collected her shopping and started to head off home. Outside of the store, a trio of bandits were in wait, surveying potential victims to abduct, sex slaves. They would either sell them or use them for themselves. The first one stood at 6. He was clothed in brown shorts and a dark green shirt. He has a sword at his waist and has short brown hair. The one to his left stood at 54 foot with medium-length gray hair. He is dressed in black shorts and a blue striped shirt and wore a bandana. He didn't appear to have any weapon on him. The final one that stood on the right stood at an even 5 with long shaggy black hair. He has an eye patch over his left eye and a sword strapped to the right side of his waist. Alright, boss, I haven't seen any worthwhile victims with the sole exception of that lovely girl who went in the store an hour ago. She is mighty fine, Dirk said to the leader of the group, Jin. Yes, I agree. I think we'll only take her for now. We'll hang around the area for a few days though to capture a few more. Though for now she will be enough to have some fun with. Don't you agree, boys? He said to his accomplices, Dirk and Shun, lustfully licking his lips. Hi, boss, both lackeys replied simultaneously. Alright, well, trail her for a bit, and then swoop in and capture her. Look, she's coming out. Jin ordered seriously. Tsunami exited the store carrying her basket of shopping. I'll be home soon, Dad, she thought. She knew he was worried about her going outside alone, but she understood. He was just being protective of her, his only child and last living relative. After about 5 minutes of walking, she was slightly suspicious of the trio of men following her. Call her paranoid, but everything just screamed wrong and danger about them. I'll be home in a few and I'll be safe. Nothing is going to happen to you, Tsunami. Come on, you're just being silly. She tried to reassure herself. She was rapidly failing, however. Alright, boys, 3, 2, 1, and now. The boss, Jin whispered to his underlings. All 3 bandits sprang into action, kidnapping the young woman. The leader grabbed Tsunami from behind and covered her mouth. The other 2 grabbed an arm each, successfully rendering her harmless and helpless. Alright, girlie. The leader, Jin, leered as he starting to grind his manhood into her rear end. Here's how we're going to do this, he started, before he chopped the back of her neck and it all went dark. Katan, Gokake no Jutsu, fire release, great fireball technique. With that, a large fireball engulfed the already fatally wounded bandit, burning him alive. Naruto turned to the unknown woman he just saved. She was shaking and crying, though still tied up. Are you alright? What is your name? Naruto questioned softly, not knowing the woman's name. Tsunami, it's Tsunami, was her hesitant reply. Thank you F for saving me, she trailed off. Naruto, thank you for saving me, Naruto-kun, Tsunami said with a bright smile. Though she was still shaken up, she was truly grateful to this Naruto, and wasn't afraid of him for what he had just done. Those monsters needed to die unless other women are to be put through the same fate she almost experienced. Alright, Tsunami-san, Naruto started, only to be interrupted. Oh, please, no formalities, Naruto-kun, you did just save me. Naruto smiled at the kind woman. Alright, Tsunami, allow me to escort you home. She nodded slowly and she showed Naruto the directions home. Arriving at the door, Naruto started to speak. I'm sorry, Tsunami, but I have to get going. Are you sure you won't stay a while? She questioned, a bit saddened that her cute savior had to go so soon. Naruto nodded in affirmative. Yes, I'm sorry. Please be safe from now on, Tsunami. I will, and thank you, Naruto-kun, she said warmly before she pulled him in close and bent down, kissing him on the cheek as a reward. Naruto's cheeks tinted pink and Tsunami giggled at his cuteness. Thank you and goodbye, Naruto-kun, Tsunami said to her, leaving Savoir. With a nod and a wave, Naruto gets going. Time skip the next day. After the whole Nami no Kuni fiasco, he spent the rest of the day traveling towards the Mizu no Kuni border. It got to nightfall before long and he decided to spend the night in a tree off the ground. It was out of the way and safe from any predators. He has just woken up and got down from the tree. He has currently wandered through the thick forest trying to navigate his way to Mizu no Kuni and ended up in a swamp-type place. While he was resting on a rock, he almost lost his balance, and in panic grabbed onto one of the smaller rocks that appeared to be just a small reformation in the larger rock. This, however, was proven wrong when he grabbed it, and swore he felt it move a bit, but quickly dismissed it as his tired mind playing tricks on him. However, when he heard a loud rumbling round originating from the mossy swamp bank where some vines and moss were once in place was now a gloomy cave entrance. He did a double take and rubbed his eyes to make sure he wasn't seeing things, and sure enough the cave entrance was still there. He approached it carefully with caution in case of it being a trap. For good measure he creates a kage bunshin and had it go in first. He heard the footsteps of the bunshin become lighter before they vanished. After about 5 minutes of waiting anxiously, he heard the footsteps of the Bunshin signaling its arrival. What he saw puzzled him. In the Kage Bunshin's hands was an old box that didn't appear to have aged even a little bit. He could tell it was old though because of its style. He had never seen anything like it. What's in it? He questioned the Bunshin curiously. That's the thing, boss, it's just a scroll. The Bunshin replied. Well, did you open and read it? Naruto asked the Bunshin curiously. I did, boss. It is completely safe and appears to be some ridiculous training schedule from the first couple of lines. After that, however, it appears to be about a taijutsu style. Judging by that, the ridiculous training schedule must be required for the style. Though if you asked me, the techniques would be impossible, and seems more like a lie or some crazy old coots theory. Probably useless. The Bunshin stated with a shrug. Let me be the judge of that. Naruto replied sternly. Suit yourself, boss, good luck, see you. The Bunshin said as it puffed out of existence. Naruto got the memories and turned back to look at the scroll and began to open it, eager to read its contents. He'd skip the training schedule for now and wait until he got home to go over it. Jeppo, Moon Step. The Jeppo allows the users to actually jump off the air itself, allowing them to stay in the air for much longer than usual. Users can use this technique to cross great distances without ever touching the ground, or set themselves up for swift, aerial attacks. There are variations of the technique. These are Kamisori and the one-legged Jeppo, kicking off the air with one leg at a time rather like hopping and keeping himself afloat. While the technique itself affords several advantages both in and out of battle for the user, it has but one major weakness, since its usage depends heavily on the user's legs. Restraining or pinning down any major parts of the lower body can significantly disrupt Jeppo. Just like Soru, there are other versions of this technique. Kamisori, Razor, a combination of Jeppo and Soru, where the user uses Soru in a zigzag motion in midair, allowing extremely fast movements in 3 dimensions. Kami, paper drawing. The Kami makes the user's body go limp in order to avoid any attacks, and float like a piece of paper. Kami Suremu, paper drawing slime. Instead of the body becoming limp like paper, it stretches and moves in ways slime or sludge would move in order to avoid attacks. Rankyaku, storm leg. The Rankyaku is a powerful projectile technique, in which the users start by kicking at very high speeds and strength, sending out a sharp compressed air blade that can slice objects, and greatly damage a human body. Tekai, Iron Mask. The Tekai hardens the user's muscles to the level of iron, in order to nullify damage taken from attacks. However, it can be broken by strong enough. When Tekai is active, the user is unable to move. Tekai can also be used to enhance the user's attacks by the increased density one gets from using Tekai. The strength of Tekai can vary for users with different physical conditions, as a person with a higher level of muscular strength would be able to take stronger forces and enhance attacks with his or her use of Tekai. Furthermore, despite the increased physical density that one gains when activating this move, one should remember that the user's body is still flesh and blood. Thus, its resistance to other than solid attacks remain pretty much the same, making the user as vulnerable as ever to certain attacks. Tekai Otsuji, Iron Mass. Doitsu. This form of Tekai is used entirely as a counter instead, where the purpose is not to absorb damage from the attack, but to transfer the shock of the attack back to the attacker, which can lead to broken bones in a normal human body. Soru, Shave. The Soru allows the users to move at extremely high speeds in order to avoid attacks, as well as to attack at higher speeds and with greater power. It was revealed that the principle of this move was to kick off the ground at least 10 times in the blink of an eye. Soru Tekai Dama, Shave, Iron Mass Ball. In this attack, the user spins his or her body at great speeds towards his opponent using Soru, then uses Tekai to harden his spherical body. Cho Sokyuten Tekai Dama, Super Cartwheel, Iron Mass Ball. A variation on the above technique wherein he combines his usual Tekai Dama movements with Jeppo to use it in midair. Shurgon, Finger Gun. The Shurgon is a close-quarter combat technique, in which the user pushes their finger into a certain target at a very high speed, leaving a wound similar to a bullet wound. It is a very useful technique that can connect rapidly and accurately, which works well with the Rokushiki user's impressive speed and agile techniques. However, it's never been used to counter or deflect another powerful attack in any fights, which is probably because the user could easily break his finger instead of just blocking it with Tekai. Shurgon Orin, Finger Gun, Yellow Lotus. This attack is simply a rapid-fire version of the normal Shurgon technique that hits the enemy multiple times. Tobu Shurgon Bachi, Flying Finger Gun, Plectrum. A projectile version of Shurgon that fires sharp compressed air bullets from the fingers, similar to Rankyaku. Unlike all other versions, this type of Shurgon is launched by flicking instead of jabbing. Tobu Shurgon Mitsubachi, Flying Finger Gun, 3 Plectrum. Same as above, except the user launches it 3 times in 3 rows. Tobu Shurgon Hibachi, Flying Finger Gun, Fire Plectrum. Same as Tobu Shurgon Bachi, except that the projectile is a fireball, possibly created through friction, that burns the victim upon impact. Shurgon Madara, Finger Gun, Spots. Appears as Aurin, performed with both hands. Gecko Jeshigen, Moonlight. 10 Finger Guns. A combination of Jeshigen and Jeppo. After using Jeppo to get himself/herself into the air and subsequently avoid his foe's attack, the user finally uses it to launch himself towards his airborne target in a vertical drop. The added momentum and the vulnerable target make the following Jeshigen more effective, and harder to avoid. Jugun, Stern Beast. This is a very strong punch which is done at the same speed as Shurgon, making it even more powerful. Jugun Oji, Fukuro Dataki, Stern Beast Secret Attack. Owl Strike, a rapid-fire version of Jugun, in which the user unleashes a flurry of punches at the enemy while using sword to move around him, in order to strike from all directions. Shinaru Shurgon Whippu, Bending Finger Gun. Whip. In this attack, the user pulls back her arm as if to use a normal Shurgon attack, then whips her arm out at the opponent at high speed, causing her arm to appear as if it is bending like a whip would, and hits the enemy with her finger. The whip aspect of this variation results in the added effect of the target being thrown forcibly backwards. Shurgon Fibu, Finger Gun. 5. The user does Shurgon with all 5 fingers on one hand. Shurgon 10, Finger Gun. 10. The does Shurgon with all 10 fingers on both. Rokugan, 6. King Gun. The Rokugan is the secret and ultimate attack of the Rokushiki style. Only those who have absolute mastery of the other 6 skills can have access to this 7th skill. The user places both his or her fists right in front of the target and launches a devastating shock wave, and causing massive internal injuries. This is only used during desperate situations as it takes a toll on the body. Rokushiki Oji, Rokugan, 6 powers ultimate attack, 6 King Gun. This is the ultimate Rokushiki technique that can damage an opponent internally, and can be performed without the side effect of great pain to the user. It appears to be 2 fists held at close range that can damage the opponent with a blast powerful. With that, he had finally finished reading the ancient taijutsu scroll for the Rokushiki style, 6 powers style. I better be heading off towards the Mizu no Kuni again in hopes of finding some remnants of my clan, the Kagaya, be it jutsu scrolls, clan scrolls, or even some alive people. He mused to himself. He was in an unknown area at the edge of Hai no Kuni. He was between Hai no Kuni, Nami no Kuni and Mizu no Kuni. He mulled it over with the map in his hands, and with some input from Kurama they agreed it would take him about a day or 2 to arrive at his destination. He put his map of the elemental nations away and sighed. Today and probably the next few days were going to be a long few days. He really wanted to get back to Kiyomi-chan. He shook his head, clearing his thoughts. Better get going, the day isn't going to wait for me, he mumbled to himself. With that he took off. By the end of the day he could see the water that would lead him to Mizu no Kuni. He'd sleep here for the night. The next morning, Naruto made his way across the water, and made it to an island that seemed to have abandoned homes. In the far-off distance, with Sharingan activated, he could vaguely make out what he assumed was the main land of Mizu no Kuni, thus Kirigakure no Sato. He shrugged before he started to explore the abandoned island and homed. It turns out that it is the Kagaya clan land. He finds some scrolls with Shikatsumi Akujutsu and 2 white, 2 black hair ornaments, 1 for either side of his head to securing the tips of his bangs. Maybe if he grew his hair out he'd wear them. Checking through the scrolls, each one was labeled what he assumed to be a Shikatsumi Akujutsu name. Altogether there were 7 jutsu scrolls, 1 for each jutsu. The scrolls are labeled for each technique, and each scroll has an explanation of the jutsu. Teshi Sinan 10-finger drilling bullets. Hardened bones from the fingertips are shot at the enemy, with a spinning motion added to the skeletal bullets. A direct hit will excavate skin, flesh, and bone. Since the bones of the user can be regenerated, the rate of fire from the user's arsenal is limitless. This technique is essential to Shikatsumiaki users for long-distance attacks. These attacks are known to be strong enough to easily pierce through the steel armor worn by the samurai. Yanagi no Mai, Dance of the Willow. The first of the Shikatsumiaka's 5 dances. To perform this dance, Shikatsumiaki users grow several long bone blades from his body for use as weapons. There isn't any set form for the Dance of the Willow. Just like a willow that is shaken by the wind, the opponent's attacks are simply parried and countered. Uncharacteristic of a willow, the hardened bones puncture and damage the opponent's body. Though the user primarily uses 2 blades grown from the palms of his hands, users can also use several secondary bones grown from their elbows, knees, and shoulders. This dance form is incredibly acrobatic, using spins, charges, and long sweeping slashes to make the strikes more effective and to evade opponents' counter-strikes. Shikatsumiaki users can also extend his bones to attack his opponents without having to adjust his own movement. Tsubaki no Mai, Dance of the Camellia. The second of Shikatsumiaka's 5 dances, which Shikatsumiaki users perform by modifying one of their upper arm bones to create a short, bone-hilted bone sword. The user then stabs chaotically and continuously, which causes the opponent's eyes to lag behind. The speed resembles afterimages. The hand with the sword is again and again visibly projected. And yet the movement is irregular, which makes it difficult to predict. With each thrust the sword's track is very capable of changing. The attack comes from unexpected angles, causing a person's delicate defense reaction to come off guard. Though one can have great reflexes and moving ability, it is next to impossible to keep dodging the fierce attack until it stops. Thus if one showed an opening, a finishing blow will be dealt by one stab in an instant. Karamatsu no Mai, Dance of the Larch. The third of the Shikatsumiaka's 5 dances. From the body, several bones pop out all at once. The stronger the opponent's physical attack, the more powerful the counterattack is, dealing severe damage. The sudden defense, combined with the needle-like bones' high killing ability, makes way for a technique which potential is high for battle. The bones can be used to block or trap an opponent's strikes. In addition to being an unwelcome surprise for opponents, it makes the user basically untouchable at close range. If an opponent would start to get close to them, the user would start to spin rapidly, slashing the foe in multiple areas of their body. Tasenka no Mai, Hana, Dance of the Clematis, Flower, the fourth of the Shikatsumiyaku's 5 dances. To obtain the strongest absolute hardest weapon, a considerable amount of chakra is needed. Enhanced to the highest degree maximum solidity due to the dense compression, the bone weapon is exceedingly large. Since its destructive power has no meaning if the blow does not connect with the opponent, Shikatsumiyaku must users first binds the opponent with a vine. Sawarabi no Mai, Dance of the Seedling Fern, the last of the Shikatsumiyaku's 5 dances. Countless bones rise from underground, which can be as many as thousands, up to the tens of thousands. The blades of bone indiscriminately slaughter whoever stands on the ground's surface. Furthermore, if this fails to bring down their foe, the user can become one with the bones, which in turn can allow them to attack an enemy unnoticed. After nodding at the explanations of the different jutsu provided, he figured it was time to start his trek back to Konoha, back to Kiyomi. He sighed before he got started. It'd be a long next few days. Time skip 4 days apartment. He had made it home, and he managed to slip back in without anyone noticing. Oh, how he was smooth! He trotted to the kitchen after making sure that Kiyomi wasn't in there. Apparently, according to his bunshin, she was in the toilet. This would give him time to switch with the bunshin. He would explain how he got the scrolls to her when she got out, and then they could hopefully try to unlock her Shikatsumiyaku. If she has it, that is. When Kiyomi got back into the kitchen, he decided that he should tell her about his adventure. After a brief explanation of his trip, Kiyomi looked a little angry. Why didn't you take me with? She questioned him sharply. I couldn't bring you. You were safer here with my Chi Bunshin, blood clone, and the house has a barrier seal so no one else can get in. Besides, my Sharingan is more advanced, and I have the Shikatsumiyaku for protection. At his reasoning, she reluctantly agreed and slowly nodded her head. Next time though, I won't have to leave without you though. Because you'll be strong enough and we'll leave together. Ah really, Tebane? She questioned. Naruto smiled at her before replying, yeah really. She pumped her fist in the air. Then let's get training. Databane. Flashback end. The other day, after receiving the memory of his academy Chi Bunshin, blood clone, reading about the epic battle of Hashirama Senju and Madara Uchiha, Naruto just had to see the battlefield himself. He consulted Kiyomi on the matter, and they both agreed to go dawn the next morning. There was no way she was missing out on getting out of the village, especially when she was ready. After a few hours of gliding through the trees there, the twins finally arrived at their destination. It was a beautiful area, where the legendary battle between titans changed the landscape into the valley itself. Walking through the valley, Naruto stumbled across an odd part in the wall. It was a slight different shade from the rest, and when he knocked on it, it seemed hollow inside. After eventually breaking through, Kiyomi and he think that it is what seems to be an abandoned hideout of sorts. Carefully walking through the abandoned hidden room with their 2 Tomo's Sharingan activated, he notices a tablet at the back of the room. It has a location written on it, Mountain's Graveyard, with a map to the place. It wasn't all that far from the Valley of the End. It is between here and Takigakure no Sato, but a bit more out of the way. The tablet also has the Uchiha crest atop it. From this they guessed it would be about a day's travel to get there. Naruto deactivates his Sharingan followed by Kiyomi, and they notice that all of the writing with the sole exception of the Uchiha crest seem to disappear and what looks like a 3 Tomo Sharingan pattern appears over the top. Naruto concludes that it is an Uchiha tablet, and is sealed off with Uchiha Fuinjutsu so that no one but an Uchiha with the Sharingan could read it. Interesting, Naruto thought to himself. Wondering why such a thing would be at the Valley of the End and hidden away, he idly pondered if whoever made it chose the place because this was where the legendary shinobi Madara Uchiha fought the Shodai Hokage Hashirama Senju, or perhaps it was Madara's from before he fought the Shodai. Naruto shook his head, clearing his thoughts. He may as well check out the place. Turning to his right, he took note of a comma that was attached to the wall. He shrugged and took it after making sure it wasn't a trap. He thought it would be an intriguing weapon to learn to use, and it seemed to be very good quality. He may as well get some use out of the thing. He swiftly exited the cave, followed closely by Kiyomi. When they were both out of the way, he did a few quick hand seals and spoke in his mind. Doton, Dorihiki, Earth Release, Earth-style wall. A wall of solid earth rapidly raised formed the ground and blended into the wall, re-encasing the cave entrance. Naruto nodded to himself, pleased with his work, and got to work heading towards their apparent next destination, Mountain's Graveyard. Time skip 1 day, Mountain's Graveyard outskirts. Awaking from where they got to last night, the outskirts of the new destination, he unsealed the ration bar for himself and Kiyomi, which they both ate for breakfast. Naruto decided it was time to get exploring. Motioning to Kiyomi to follow, they started making their way to a clearing. Naruto scaled a large tree to get a good overview of the place. No use on going in blind. Arriving at the top of the tree, Naruto got a magnificent view of the area known as Mountain's Graveyard. There are large bones amongst the trees and forestry. So that's why it's called Mountain's Graveyard fits. Naruto thought to himself, noting all of the bones and the mountains surrounding the place. It was literally a graveyard surrounded by mountains. Sum up here and check the view out, Kiyomi-chan. He said down to his twin. Said girl shrugged her shoulders and quickly made her way up to him. Wow, what a view! She said in complete awe of the place. It was a great view even if it was a graveyard. He shrugged to himself, noting that it seemed pretty much abandoned. Alright, let's get going, Kiyomi-chan. She nodded in agreement, and with that they speed off through the trees in order to observe and explore the large pile of bones up close and personal. After several minutes of tree hopping they both arrived at one of the closer skeletons and slowly and stealthily walked up to it. They reached the base and looked around it. Staring at the eye hole of the behemoth he scaled it until he was in one of the eyes. Once there he could see that it was actually sort of like a room, not unlike the one that he discovered at the Valley of the End. "Kiyomi-chan, come up here," he whispered to his precious Minato. She looked up at where he was and nodded. She then started to climb the surface of the bone. When she finally reached the eye hole where Naruto was, after making sure that there was nothing dangerous from above, he told her to jump on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. With that he grasped his kama tightly and jumped down, landing swiftly on the ground, Kiyomi right on his tail. Upon landing he noticed that the figure in the middle of the room was actually an old man, seated on a throne of wood. He looked ancient. I wonder if he is actually even alive, Naruto pondered. He activated his Sharingan and took note that the ancient old man was actually in fact alive. He decided to warily approach. When both he and Kiyomi were upon the man, a single 3-tomo Sharingan snapped open. What if neglected Naruto x Kiyomi Uchiha harem? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel, and leave a like if you guys need the next part. Comment down, and thanks for watching the video, and see you guys in the next video.